This podcast contains full spoilers for the game Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice. We also discuss mental illness and make references to assault, abuse, and violent imagery.
Are we going?
We've been recording for ages.
I'm going to start it properly.
Okay.
What's up, guys? Welcome to the Game Spoilers Podcast. My name's Jeremy. I'll be one of your hosts today. Is that too loud?
Probably. It's too obnoxious, that's for
I'm
sure.
going to commit.
Well, I mean, if we're going to do it, we've got to go all in.
Okay. Well, welcome to episode 1/2
Hi, Mum.
of the Game Spoilers Game Club podcast. My name's Kerry.
I'm June.
And I'm Jeremy.
So, we've done our first episode, quote unquote, of this, which we focused on the Lost Legacy in Uncharted. And since then, we've actually put a lot of time and a lot of effort into the
Everything.
I'm gonna say brand.
The brand.
Loosely the brand of this podcast that we've started doing. So
And now for the brand, we have to do the hashtag content part of the brand.
hashtag content or hashtag content part of the brand, because that's the worst hashtag I've ever heard. If it's that one.
I'll get it trending.
So we're gonna go through some housekeeping before we get onto our game of the episode, of the month, of the year, not the year. Hellblade.
It might be the game of the year.
Might be the game of the year. We're going to rank all of our games at the end.
Oh, that'd be cute. Let's
That'd
do
be
that.
cool.
Okay, well, I wouldn't even put in my game of the month, but let's keep going.
Okay. So, in terms of what we're on, well, first of all, last episode we didn't have a name. Now, this is the Game Spoilers podcast.
We have a name, we have a website, we have a Twitter account.
Yep.
We have...
An email address.
And an email address.
What are we on?
And we're on so many services. We are on Spotify. We are on iTunes. We're on Google Play Music for those of you out
In
there,
America.
Yeah, who aren't in Australia.
And Canada, I think.
There were 2 German people who listened to this last I checked.
Hello, those people.
Hello, German people.
If you're back again.
Guten Tag.
As well as every other person. We're on Stitcher. And also, because of how podcast works, the RSS feed gets picked up by lots of different podcast services. So check your service that you use. If it's not on there and you want it to be, you can talk to us about... No, you can talk to us through our Twitter. You can message us, or you can email us. Email us at GameSpoilersPod. So GameSpoilersPod@gmail.com.
You're doing a good job, Kerry.
Thank you.
We do appreciate you.
A little bit.
Oh, that sounded...
That was not backhanded.
All right. So our Twitter account is also at GameSpoilersPod. You should totally follow us. Last time, during the month that we were doing this, we were pointing out when there were sales on Hellblade. So if you want to join in on the conversation, you can do that. And also, if you have any feedback or ideas or love, we would like your
would be
love.
nice.
Feel free to send them to our Twitter or to our email address, and we'll read them and we will love you back.
Maybe we will... No.
I mean,
it's fine.
like, hate too, because they don't know someone's listening.
Oh, true.
True. That's a good point. Just send us your stream of consciousness.
Direct the hate towards email just so I can delete it. Thanks.
Yeah, so that's who we are. That's who this podcast is. That's what it is. We should also talk about who we are.
Yeah, we didn't do it well enough last time.
Yeah. And so you should get a sense of our personalities for who we are and who we are destined to become.
I'll drive him away at that point.
Do you want to go first, Kerry?
Oh, okay.
You go first.
What's your favourite game, Gary?
What's my favourite game? I feel like, off the top of my head, I want to say... maybe like...
Should we come back to you?
While you're thinking, this is Jeremy speaking. Hi, how you doing? My favourite game is...
Please don't ever do this.
My favourite game is Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh. Why is it your favourite game, Jeremy? Who's speaking?
I think it was one of the first games that I ever played. Have I told you the story?
No, go on.
It was one of the first games that I ever played that kind of went against everything that I had previously thought games would do and could do. And it was, how old was I when that game came out?
4?
No. Funny boy. I think I was probably about 7 or 8. and I was
It's not much difference.
Wasn't that far away, was it?
Well, I was in primary school, and my dad picked it up, and he was like, "Hey, this looks kind of neat," and he just kind of bought it for himself, and then I
selfish.
watched him play it, because my dad used to do art when he was younger, and he liked the cover art, and just kind of bought it based on the cover art, and the fact that it had, like, nice art postcards, and then we played it, and he told me to leave the room whenever I stab a Colossus because of the amount of black blood that was in it, so I didn't play it for a long time, and then later on I played it and fell in love with it.
Cool.
So that is my favorite game.
What is your background?
Yeah.
What do you
Tell
want?
us about yourself.
Yeah, tell us about yourself.
My background is, well, like all of us have just finished a game design and development course for the past 2 years. That's how we all met. And in some form or another, I would like to get into games journalism and media. For the past month, I've been working on a website for the three of us.
Stay tuned to hear more about that.
Yeah. Also, if you've got a good name, let me know, because like I'm having a really hard time.
Yeah, we're bad at this.
And I've been managing the podcast and putting it up on the different services. Check it out at gamespoilers.com.
Yeah, we have a website, gamespoilers.com.
Yes. And yeah, so I've been doing no writing or any journalism stuff just because I've been doing the website stuff. So that is my immediate background to everything.
What are you passionate about? Like, what do you want if you were writing? What do you want to write about?
I like to write about. Well, I like to like I'll say what I like to read about, and in turn, like I would like to also write about stuff that I read about, which is like topics which are not really like kind of like just kind of like a bit left of what you would normally read. So. I'm trying to think of an example. So I was reading about, apparently a while ago, IGN and another company partnered with, IGN partnered with another company to do a Game Jam TV show, which went awful, and it was terrible in so many ways.
I didn't know about that.
Neither did I, which is why...
Did anyone?
Well, like, that's the thing. I had never heard of it before.
Yeah,
so I read a lot about that because I thought it was really interesting, and it was really not that long ago.
Right.
So
That's
that kind of weird stuff that is kind of a product of an industry which is still, in some regards, in its infancy. Another one would be them dumping the ET cartridges in the New Mexican desert.
Sure.
Like that's a great example of really wacky stuff that you know, like it for all I actually didn't believe that they did that because it was a myth for a long time, and turns out that was real.
Right.
So
Cool.
that's the kind of stuff that I like to write about, as well as games that impact me in strong ways. I like to read and write about those as well.
Cool. All right.
Follow me at Obi1Jez on Twitter.
Have you got a favourite game yet?
I do. Okay. I do have a favorite game.
You can go next.
Easy answer, but I think it's the most accurate would be Ocarina of Time, because that's like, that was the drug, that was the gateway. But no, it was the first thing that I played, and I loved it. I loved it, and it was I never beat it till for the first time on my own, like last year, because of course once you put the N64 away, it didn't really come out. So then I got the 3DS port, but I really do enjoy that game, just for what it means for my childhood and what it meant for me getting into all of these other games that I love so much. So in terms of myself, as Jeremy mentioned, we've all just come from a game design course where we met each other and have started this thing together from, and we've just finished that. I did 2 previous courses out of high school before that, so I was doing IT before this game design course, and before that I was actually doing music performance on tenor saxophone, which was fun, but
Where'd you do that? Sorry, if this is too personal.
That's fine. That was at Victorian College of the Arts.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
just down St Kilda Road.
Yeah. I had a friend that went there for animation, I think.
Yeah, no, they do all kinds of stuff. They do like fine art. I mean, all their courses are fine art, but they do like illustrations. They
Yeah.
do dance and like theatre production, stuff like that. Also music and music composition, stuff like that. So yeah, that's sort of where I've come from. I've been spending my last month or so looking for work, so I can pay my rent, but also in my spare time editing together some videos in the style of some YouTubers that I like, of friends and I playing Battlegrounds, like these two fine people here and others who have not been here. And also getting into streaming a little bit. So if you're interested in that, you should look at my things that I'll be posting about on Twitter and don't remember the names of here.
What are you passionate about? In like, same question. In writing and reading, what is your thing, your quirk almost, I suppose?
Quirk, I don't know. I do enjoy pieces about why games have left an impact on people. It's like, why this game is important to me, and it's because of not the game, but the situations around it. Like, the story you were telling about Shadow before and your dad, Jeremy, or, my mum used to spend an hour with me once a week, and she worked 2 jobs, and it was the time we got to spend together. Like, stories like that. That stuff's really beautiful. And yeah, stories about people connecting to other people.
Yeah.
I think.
That's cute. I love it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
June, hit it.
My favourite game, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time and Darkness.
Ooh.
I thought you were going to say something then.
No, I'm
That's fine.
being professional by not saying that that's the wrong one. Blue's the right.
It's
Continue.
not. I...
Leave a comment down below. What's your favorite mystery dungeon?
No,
Comment
please
down
don't.
below, like
It's
the
all going to be
YouTube
red
video.
blue. I love that game a lot because I played it when I was younger with my sister, and we beat that. We sat. I had a double bunk bed at the time, and we put the mattress up against one side and put fairy lights on in the inside. And Ella and I sat there and played it for like all of school holidays. And we were at the same time. So I had time, and she had darkness, and we got to the same point at the same time. And if people, the point that I'm talking about, if you've played the game,
Yep.
and we're sitting there both bawling our eyes out, and I think that was the first time that connecting to other, like you were saying before, like connecting to other people through games, as well as it was probably the first time that I sort of realized that games can have such an emotional effect on a person. Because it was the first game that tore my heart out. So
I love it when things tear my heart out.
I do though, especially games. So yeah, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, Explorers of Time, Darkness, and /Sky. Yeah,
Cool. I'm going to be super rude for a sec. I just need a drink.
that's
Yes.
fine, I guess. It's really unprofessional.
The Sky, the third one, like Emerald is to represent.
Yeah,
Right? Okay.
yeah, it's like the platinum.
Right.
Okay, so why don't you tell us a bit about your background?
My background, game design for 2 years, as we have said 3 times now. Previous to that, I did I didn't finish it, but I did a short course in gender studies, as well as, did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I did.
That's cool.
Oh yeah, it was alright.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And
Spoke too soon.
That's it, and now I'm doing a entertainment journalism course specialising in games journalism.
I think Jeremy and I are both somewhat jealous.
It's alright.
I'm jealous
alright.
of not going to school.
And so hopefully I can apply what I'm learning for that to game spoilers as well as the website. And I think I'll be able to do that because I am writing at the moment, so
Yeah.
it's good. What am I passionate about? Is that the next question?
What are you passionate
What
about?
am I passionate about? Queer media.
Yep.
Love those gays. I'm hearing about queer people that have made games and
Yep.
the stories that they tell and the stories that they have to tell, and getting those stories out is really important to me. Yeah, as well as, I suppose, mental health in games and stuff as well, which is why Hellblade, it was a good one.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's about
Great.
it.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, I kind of got an inkling of this in our in our episode 0 pilot episode when we were talking about parts of Uncharted or parts of like the characters' motivations, that we would be coming at this with an angle of like, what does this also mean in terms of like social issues at the moment? Like, what were Chloe and Nadine's motivations in the last game? Oh, it was sort of about their fathers. That's a bit tropey. That kind of doesn't do much, but also at the same time, it's kick ass that they're two women. Like, I think it's safe to say that we'll be looking at games like that through that lens as we go through this podcast
I
as well.
would, yes, I would love that. I would love to do that. That's how I look at everything. So
Right, good. I think you'll fit right along in this little venture.
I'm so glad.
All right, so now that it's been a time doing that, it's time to do the thing that you came here for, dear listener, precious listener,
Listeners.
listeners,
Oh, sorry, yeah.
like Jeremy's mum
Yes.
and Ollie.
No, she doesn't listen.
That's what you said last time.
Nothing's changed.
Okay.
Shane will listen. Hi, Shane.
Oh yeah, hi Shane. So let's talk about Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice.
How do you say?
I don't know. That was interesting. In the game, they say Senua.
I say Senua.
Yeah.
Senua. Yeah.
Um,
They pronounced it a couple of different ways.
yeah. No, they did
Yeah.
because they had a lot of varying accents. Because they had Senua's accent, which was I don't know the actor's nationality, but I think that's her natural accent, which was sort of more like, I want to say like Northern Europe.
I'm not entirely sure. I don't want to.
Yeah, no, neither do I.
Yeah.
But then all the voices in her head they were English, and then there was Struth like Irish or Scottish?
Yeah, he was like, I think it was heavy Irish.
Yeah.
Because of
and
the way he would pronounce.
And Dillian was really quite posh and proper English, and her dad was a demon. So lots of different. Why are we talking about accents? How do we start with this?
Senua.
Oh yeah,
That's the
Senua.
name. Yeah.
That's right. We derailed on the title.
Sorry.
That's okay.
That's a
it's
really
okay.
good start.
How do you pronounce Hellblade?
It's pronounced Heavenly Sword.
Oh, sorry. Oh, my bad.
Okay, so we're going to do this with a bit more structure this time compared to last time. So we've broken this down into, I've got here 5 segments. So we've got story, and we're going to break that down sort of section by section. We've got mental health, because that's like the biggest theme of this game. Yeah, and interesting things for that as well. Puzzle design, combat, visuals / performances / any leftovers that we've forgotten about along the way. So I just want to start with an overview so we're all in the same place. Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice is about this one woman, Senua, who is... and the game's set in medieval times, I would say, and the game's heavily steeped in Norse lore and mythos. It's about this woman, Senua, who is travelling into Helheim, or Hell, to bargain for her lover's soul, who has been killed.
Dillian.
Dillian. And going through, at the very, very start of this game, it's made very clear to you that Senua is not a person who is not 100% well.
She's not neurotypical, I think.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. So, neuroatypical.
Yeah, she's neuroatypical.
Yeah, so Senua deals with very, very prevalent and disabling and challenging psychosis. So as you play through this game, you are hearing all of the voices that are inside Senua's head as she is going through this journey, and it is very sort of cerebral and very intense. And then as you go throughout all of the sections of the game, trying to unlock the doors to Helheim and overcome literal demons, you find out more parts about Senua's life that explain more about Dillian, more about Senua's illness, and why she feels about herself the way she does, and why she might even have this this psychosis in the first place. So we're probably going to go through this chronologically, just because each section of the game had very distinct memories and dealt with very specific sort of like catalyzers for difficulty.
Yeah, like obviously there are overarching themes, but for the most part, it's kind of not segmented, but like just like chapterized. Is that a word?
I think it would be segmented. I'd call it segmented. Because the end of each chapter, which is pretty distinct, each path, you know, you hear a story, and then you get to the end of the story, and the story relates to Senua's journey. So at the start of the game, obviously Senua is traveling into Helheim.
Mrs. Hellblade.
Mrs. Hellblade.
First name Hell, second name Blade.
How did you both feel when starting the game? And did you all listen to it play the game with headphones on?
Yes. Hang on, how about we talk about where were we when we were playing this game? Because I feel like that also changes.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Did you guys play it at night?
No, I played both of the times I played it. I did it in 2 sessions, 2 halves. Both times it was middle of the day. It was like I played from like noon till 4 each time.
I did the opening prologue. So I did it in 2 sessions. I did the opening prologue as 1 session, and then the rest of the fucking game in another session.
Yeah, you did opening credits.
Yeah, I played the first hour, and then I played the last 9 hours in 2 separate sessions.
At nighttime?
It was 3 a.m. when I did the prologue, and then I think I started the other 90% of the game at about 9 a.m.
Okay.
Cool.
With headphones.
Yeah. I played the game. I started at 7 p.m. and I did like the first session until 3 a.m. and then I got to a really scary bit.
Yeah.
And I had to put it down because I couldn't play it at that time. And then I played the rest in the morning.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting.
Yeah, totally. Okay, so yeah, how did you because the start of this game is very, I mean, this game in itself is very different, but the start of it sets the tone for the game, and it is very striking and distinct. So what was your sort of first impression as you were starting the game? As you were rowing down the river on the log, and like mental health advisor comes up in the credits, and you start hearing these voices. Like, I don't know, for me when that was happening, I mean I knew what we were getting into, but it was really intense, because once you keep going down there, and there's corpses on spikes, and all of the imagery around you is really harsh, and the environment is quite stark, and there are these voices in your head. Like, it was quite striking for a first impression.
I really did not know much about the obviously I know about the themes of the Hellblade, which is why I thought it was a good one to play, but I didn't really know about the setting. So I guess like when that happened, I'm like, oh my god, this is a scary game. Like this is gonna be scary.
Yeah.
What have I done? But also because I knew about the voices in your head stuff, I that wasn't really striking to me, I guess.
Okay.
I did have to turn it down. So I remember that because like, whoa, they're in my head.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I mean, the opening was kind of, it's obviously setting the tone and the stage of everything. The voices, I think, were more intense quicker than I thought they were going to be. I thought they were going to kind of layer it on and make you second guess who's talking more.
Right, so it'd be more like a psychological thriller type vibe.
Yeah, I mean, like, not so much that, but just more like, I thought that you were going to go through the stages of psychosis as opposed to, like, almost straight off the bat, it being apparent. Which took me off guard a little bit, like, once I figured that out.
Yep.
I mean, it's not actually hard to figure out because there's voices a lot.
Immediately.
Yeah, like, very quickly. But, yeah, it was... I thought it was a really good opening, the way it set the stage. I thought the credits were very good.
The credits were really cool. I remember thinking that.
Yeah. It reminded me of Half-Life, the opening of being on the monorail.
Yeah.
In a way of it just like, setting the tone, getting you in the mood for what is about to come, which is kind of interesting because nothing can prepare you for what's about to come.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's interesting too, because this game is one of the most intense games I've played.
Yep.
It's one of the games that made me hold my breath the most until I realized I wasn't breathing anymore.
Yep.
So I had to start physically trying to make myself breathe. Like, it was... This game... Like, I took about 6 or 7 hours to beat it. I think there's an estimation. I was never really too challenged by the mechanics of the game. But the theme and the setting... and the tone of the game is so intense perpetually that it was a long 7 hours. It was a long... Like, the hours that we were playing... That I was playing this game felt like very long hours. And so I think it's important that they did that at the start with the credits, is set that tone, which is probably why they did front-load the credits at the end, so there's no interaction. You're just sitting there. You're getting a little backstory from that one clear voice in her head. You're getting the interactions of all the other voices where it's like, well, what's happening? Oh, the head's talking. Oh, what's this? What's that? And you're seeing Senua's own struggle and semi-panic and resolve to go forward. Because I think without that, like if it was like a cold open or something like that, that would just mess people up and it would turn people off.
Yeah, like, and the only time the game talks to the player is when they explain the rot.
That's right, with those subtitles.
Yeah, like it was very. It was almost like let's get this out of the way right now because we don't want to like ruin your immersion. We don't want to take you out of the game,
and we don't want Senua to say, "Oh, it's almost as if this reaches my head. All of my game save progress will be lost."
Or even the head just being like, like
the tutorial head.
Like it would have been very on the nose exposition-y if it told you like you'll have to restart your journey if the rot reaches the head.
Thanks, Dillian.
Yeah. They wink and they keep going. So it was a very not a. I don't know if hands-off is the right word, but it was a very cinematic in the sense that it doesn't like it's not a gamey game. Like there's no there's
no like collectibles to get just for the sake of it.
Like there is and there isn't. Like because there's the runes.
I'm talking like Banjo-Kazooie collectibles.
Oh yeah, no. Like there's no
or like Sonic rings or Mario coins
or even like contextualized stuff. There's no like, hey, here's a Nordic hammer.
Yeah.
Which you can view in a menu. In all its glory.
Or a mural that you got to piece together or something like that.
Yeah, like the gamiest part of the game was the achievements, which almost kind of took me out of it every now and again.
Oh, when you got one.
Yeah, when I got one and it would ding and like
give me a fucking fright.
What are you playing on Steam?
Yeah, you're playing on Steam.
I was playing on GG and
okay.
And they come up at like the very top.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Steam achievements are so like
down the bottom,
nondescript. They're just
No, it's like right up the very like top middle, and they just like pop down. Like, oh god, please don't do that again.
The PlayStation ones are very like, hey, you did a thing. By the way, took a screenshot. Would you like to view these? No, I don't want to.
But there wasn't any achievements aside from like you've beat this boss, you've beat this boss.
It was like a Telltale game in that the achievements were. Beat this section, now beat this section, now beat this section. The only achievement was get all the runes.
Yeah, so...
And then once you've done that and completed the game, you have every achievement.
Yeah.
Made me think about going back to get the platinum, but then I was like, I don't want to gamey this game.
There's no chapter select either.
Really?
Yeah, there's none.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
Put the nail in that coffin.
Yeah. Yep.
Before we get going, who played with subtitles? Because
I
did not. Right, because I did at the beginning, and then I turned them off.
I played the subtitles the entire way through.
Right, yeah, because I turned them off because I was losing the performance, I think.
Okay.
I don't usually do that. Usually I play games with subtitles, so that if I look away, like even games I'm not looking away, but if I miss something, I can always just quickly go down and look at it again if I'm looking at something else.
Yeah.
But this, I felt it actually took away from part of the game. It took away from me experiencing part of the game because I was reading.
I mean, a lot of Senua's performances are to the camera.
Yeah, and that's why.
Yeah, because you're looking Senua in the eyes like for so many times where she's talking to Dillian or her father or her mother. It doesn't matter who. She's like half of her performance was to the camera, so I can definitely see that being an issue.
Well, I mean, rather the camera moved in front of Senua. It wasn't
Yeah.
like it wasn't like she turned
would look
around
at it.
and like looked at the player, but it was like the camera would move around.
Yeah,
To face Senua.
especially when there was a focal point. I
Yeah.
would say. Let's quickly, while we're talking about this intro section, talk about the rot. So this was the mechanic in the game that it got written about. It gave all the publicity to Hellblade when it first came out, in that if you fail so many times, the rot will reach your head and you will lose all progress.
Did that happen to anyone?
No.
No.
No, I didn't die once in the first time I played the
Really?
in the first session, and then the second session I died way more, but
I died quite a few times.
Yeah, so did I.
it never got past Senua's shoulder for me.
Okay.
The rut.
You want to know how I died the most?
Are we gonna get up to it, or
I don't know if it's in there.
okay?
Fucking walking over the planks.
Oh, what, the balancing section?
Bad.
Oh,
It doesn't tell you that you're supposed to fucking balance on them. So like she gets to a certain point and she just falls. I'm like, how am I supposed to stop this?
Okay.
I could swear that the voices say something like, "Oh, she's got to cross. How's she gonna make it across?"
Yeah, but she doesn't say, "Oh, move it like left and right to try and balance." I mean, I guess that you're supposed to kind of know that from other games you've played, but like I guess I didn't think about it.
Oh, right.
So like,
Were you playing with the controller?
yeah.
Okay.
So like the first time that she's crossing the bridge, when she's about to, like the very
At
start, section,
yeah, the first one.
Yeah, and she'll, like, move forward and she'll be, like, falling, and when I played that, I pulled back on the trigger, and she stopped and went back again, and then started going, so I'm like, oh, okay, when she's about to fall, I gotta pull back on the trigger. And when that wasn't working, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I hate this so much.
Oh,
so to me, like,
right.
her rope was, like, up to her neck.
Oh, okay,
like,
that's
because I
full
kept
on.
fucking falling off the planks.
That's intense.
Yeah.
I've got a thing in here about how much I love the balancing
Yeah?
sections in this game more than
Cool.
any other balancing section.
Can't relate.
Because I felt like it was way more intuitive and it wouldn't put you off balance really aggressively. Like, you know, in Uncharted when you do those. No, not Uncharted. It's in so many games.
Tomb
and I can't-
Raider.
Tomb Raider, yeah.
Did
where-
they do it at Tomb Raider?
Do you mean about having, like, a thing down the bottom that
Yeah,
shows you
yeah.
how far, yeah.
It's like a Tony Hawk.
Yeah, I know, that's the first
grind
example that comes to my
meter.
head. But it's the one where they just, like, for no reason, like, start sending you off one way, so you've got
Yeah.
to do something about it. I felt like they didn't do that in this.
So it's like arbitrary gust of wind comes from the wall right next to you, like
Yeah.
to like push you off.
Yeah. So,
The rot.
yeah, the rot. I thought the rot was a really interesting way. Like, it got all this bad press because it was like, oh my god, Hellblade deletes your saves if you fuck up too much. I thought that was really overblown. And I really enjoyed how it gave you a reason to not fuck up. To not treat this like limbo where death is a part of figuring out the answer, where it was like, it was a mechanical realization of Senua's struggle to go on.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, no, Senua can't just keep going because she's a video game character. There's going to be a point in time where she can't keep going because it's just too hard. And I thought that was a really interesting way to put into mechanics the struggle, Senua's like long-term struggle of continuing to move forward.
Obviously, it also made it more stressful and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Which is probably the point of it also.
Yeah, greater stakes.
Like same with towards the end of the game, which is largely a combat section. I died a lot in that section, and when I was playing and I was dying a lot, it would it annoyed me, but it was also there was a great deal of stress and pressure which was put on me to, like, I'm at the end. If I fuck it up now,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm gonna have like the personal strength to like replay the whole game.
Totally.
And it made me change my playstyle to be more defensive.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, like I think a good thing.
Yeah, totally.
The way, like, you know, it forced me to play this game differently towards the end than it did at the beginning, at least.
So I'm just looking up. I wanna know what the actual gameplay. I want to know what actually happens when you
The ramifications.
get consumed by the rot.
Because I heard conflicting things.
Yeah. If the rot manages to spread all the way up to her head, then the quest ends and all progress is lost. Even without being killed, the rot spreads up Senua's arm on its own at pivotal moments in the story, covering her entire right side by the time of the final battles. There has been some debate as to what the warning of the rot's effect means. Testing of repeated death by players in combat and environmentally have failed to trigger the permadeath state that the warning seems to allude to even after 50 deaths.
Yeah.
Story-wise, the rot manages to reach Senua's head after a final confrontation with Hela, fulfilling the warning's prophecy that her quest would be over once it did.
So, okay.
The rot's purpose could be interpreted as a physical symbol of the depths of Senua's psychosis, slowly consuming her from the inside until she learns to accept her condition as part of her and not as a curse.
These lying game devs.
I like your troll voice.
Yeah, I don't.
So?
Huh?
You said so.
Oh no, it's alright. I figured it out.
Okay.
So,
So let's talk briefly about the illusion section, the section of Valravn. I really like the gameplay in this section. The one where you have to go through the gates and it shows you like a different reality.
This was my favourite part of the entire game.
Yeah.
This section.
Yeah,
was my
right?
favourite
Like
part.
mechanically it's really strong.
And it bugged me that they didn't use the gates in any other section of the game except for once.
Yeah,
at
they
the
used
very
it
end.
towards the end, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it was my favourite puzzle design, and that could be used and developed into so many different ways, and they chose to use the runes instead for some reason.
Yeah.
Like, it really felt wasted, and like the whole Valravn section, including Valravn himself, themselves, it was like, I don't know. I wish it could have ended there, and I would have been happier with the game. Like, obviously not, but
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me, I might have gotten a bit tired of it if it had been more in the game. But that said, it was the most puzzle intense part of the game.
yeah, like my only issue with that section was that there are sections of it where some of the gates are a long way away and Senua walks kind of slowly. And like I know there's the sprint thing, but like a lot of that section, like it wasn't difficult. It was more about it was more of a spot the difference thing, which I liked.
Yeah.
I wanted them to I agree in the sense that I wanted them to use that throughout the rest of the game because I thought it was a really cool mechanic.
Yeah.
it was. Oh my god, it was so cool.
I actually think there were a lot of sections they could have used it.
Yeah.
In ways which were interesting.
Yeah.
It bugged me. Yeah, that they decided to use the rune thing, like matching the runes on the landscape, because it's such a...
Oh,
It's
right.
not
I thought
very
you meant the
engaging.
storytelling runes, but you mean the...
No, sorry,
like
the actual runes in your vision where you got to match them
where you
to
gotta
everything, and I feel
focus,
like that's
yeah.
just so... I don't know, it's not engaging enough
Yeah,
for
no,
me.
I agree. Because
It
that's
felt
sort of just
very-
like walk around and... you
It's
get a
like,
hint.
put the puzzle in the right puzzle piece, like,
Yeah.
where you could be, walking through these cool gates
Yeah.
and stuff. But what I really loved also, the very last section of the Valravn before you beat him, is the big garden kind of thing, whatever it is, and all
Is that the one with the tree?
no, sorry, not that bit. The one before, like the big area, the biggest.
Oh, is
area
that the one with all of the different
yeah.
ones, and you got
Yeah.
you got to cut them down? And
Like
figure
my
out which
favorite
ones?
fucking part of the game,
Yeah.
and there's the raven statues, and they point towards the gates,
Oh.
and the design of those statues, and like even just like being close to one at all is just like I want to die.
No, totally.
And the fact like some of them don't point, and some of them do point, and the ones that point towards which way you're supposed to look through the gate.
Yeah.
And the pointing ones are the most terrifying thing I've ever seen in my
So
life.
scary.
And
so scary.
But like the fuck, it's so cool. Like it's so
Yeah,
cool,
And
and
like, seeing Valravn through a gate and then going through it, and then it turns into the
like the stick version.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the stick version of the character in the same
Oh,
position.
God.
Like it was a really, it reminded me of like True Detective stuff. It was a really like good way to just fuck with me a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
what about Valravn's song? Because that song.
Oh, with
scared
his
the fuck
voice.
out of me.
Oh.
His really low, gravelly voice.
Yes.
Like it was like excellent, and like obviously we're going to talk about sound design, but like oh my god,
I know.
Um,
the
I've forgotten what it is.
it's
like
just
a-
him going like, oh, there's all the night. Except like,
That was really good.
oh, thank you.
Your
Except
SoundCloud?
what?
You
yeah,
have a
link your
SoundCloud?
SoundCloud.
Yeah, I do professional Valravn ASMR.
Yeah.
But the entire like half hour, 45-minute like section that entire gameplay section was so intense. It was so scary, and it was different to anything else in that game, really, because it was about finding out who Valravn was as you went through and finding more interactions. You hear that voice and it terrifies you. You see these sick figures and they're everywhere and they're pointing.
At the very start, the first room you go into after you go through the door, and there's a raven up the top, and he's got like human legs, and he's just sitting up the top and he's like twitching and stuff. Oh,
I didn't see that.
Creep me out.
Whoa.
But did you guys play Cert first, or did you do Valravn first?
I did Valravn first.
I did Cert first.
Okay, I did Cert. Okay, that's interesting.
You did Cert first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
yeah, for me that was sort of, it was like, oh, here comes the game now, like, because that's sort of the start of game when you go through one of those two gates, and then that section was easily the most tense I was.
That's interesting, going straight into that, because I find that Cert, is it Cert or
it's SURTR, so it's sort of like Cert.
Yeah.
I mean, I was reading up on Norse mythology earlier today. You can say Cert, like
Okay.
it's all the same.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Cert. I feel like that section compared to Valravn, so like I played that section first, and I feel like, that was not really scary. Like, it was alright.
Yeah, no, and
like there was dead bodies and they were burning, and it was like, alright, cool.
Yeah, it was expositional.
Yeah, and then you go into Valravn's, and it's like, here we go. Here's the game. Like, I don't know.
I'm glad they didn't bring back the running away from the fire mechanic.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that fun.
God.
Like, it wasn't. Yeah, like
The
it was
only
just
thing
running.
Yeah, it was
The
just
only
go
thing
forward.
that I liked about
Go away from the bodies.
Yeah, the only thing I liked about that section is the first time that you sort of hear that the voices tell you the wrong things sometimes. So,
Right.
like, normally they give you hints towards how to do the story and how to do the puzzles. But there's a section where you're running away from the fire, and it tells you that you're going the wrong way. And it's quite early in the game, and I'm like, oh, am I going the wrong way? I guess I'll turn around, and then you die.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, no.
but you said there was a...
You can't listen to them.
And that was like, the only sort of good thing I got out of the running away from the fire. Otherwise, I just thought it was kind of cheap.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like a lot of things in this game. Sorry. Go on.
Shots fired.
So, I had a discussion with someone who wasn't a part of this group, because we've been trying not to talk to each other about the game, so we can save it for this, obviously. So I was trying to talk to Ollie, hi Ollie, about the cutscene between the gameplay and the boss fight with Valravn. And it's the scene where Valravn like knocks you out of the tree,
Okay, I do.
and then
remember
you
this.
wake up and you're on the floor,
You're on the ground.
Right,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
all you see is Senua's face.
And she's sort of moving back and forth, like she's being
Yeah,
kept.
and her eyes are like dead. So I had to bring this up with Ollie. I'm like, is this like an assault scene? Is that what I'm seeing right now?
Right.
Because it looked fucked from the way I saw it. It looked horrendous, and it was it honestly looked to me like she was being assaulted by this raven creature. It was awful. And I spoke to Ollie about it, and he didn't get that at all. He was like, oh no, it's a raven, it's like pecking at her.
I got pecking, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get anything else from that.
Oh, that's so interesting. Because I think a lot of what kind of gave that impression to me was Senua's performance in that moment, where she's like awake and like there on the ground, and it's just like deadpan in the face.
Yeah.
It's like she's not even there.
Right.
And that really freaked me out. Like that almost seemed like I was too far when I saw that, and I had that impression.
Right.
How did you feel when you went through that?
I didn't have that reaction. I don't specifically remember that part off the top of my head, but like I think I remember something along the lines of me thinking it was pecking.
Yeah. Okay.
Just because like it was a raven.
Yep.
Yeah, like I didn't have that reaction, but that's,
I wonder if
that is interesting.
I wonder if someone from that hadn't didn't know it was Valravn, didn't know it was a raven thing, saw that scene and would think something different.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, maybe it's meant to be a nuanced suggestion that you maybe see or maybe don't if you're sensitive to that material.
There's so many
or
parts
something
of
like
this game that are like that, where you can take it differently.
Totally.
And you could be right. You could be completely right.
Yeah, it's very interesting. How did you find... Oh no, we'll talk about that in combat. I feel like we've spoken about both of those sections.
So just talk about that in combat.
Yeah, in combat we will talk about.
Anything else about Cert?
Not really. I thought it was interesting to...
It really was subpar compared to Valravn.
Yeah, it was. And that's because it was about Druth, I
That's
find.
true, yeah. And
Because
it
it was...
sort of set up Druth as a character.
Exactly. And I appreciated that. I appreciated knowing more about him, especially after doing Valravn first. And it was
Yeah.
like, who is this guy?
That's interesting. So that's why I kind of thought when I finished Valravn, I'm like, are you able to do Valravn's first?
Yeah.
Because, like, it didn't...
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Which was, so, like, I think the one thing I said to you two before we did this was that the opening part is more gamey and not like the rest of the game. And that's what I was talking about in the sense of, like, oh, you can do boss A or boss B first. You have to do both of them. And then the rest of the game is not, there's no, you can do this or this or this first. Apart from...
Except for maybe the shard trials.
Yeah, but even then, they give
That doesn't matter.
Like, they give you an order to do them too anyway.
That's right, you do go around in a circle.
Just because you go around this, like the tree. So it was interesting they even bothered to give you that choice when they could have just put you on a linear path and it honestly wouldn't have made much of a difference at all. Especially considering the only thing that carries on from that is the runes, like the shape rune puzzle.
Yep, totally.
And that one time you go through the door. So yeah, like I thought that was because I actually made a mistake earlier. That like I did those two bosses and then I stopped on my first playthrough.
Oh, okay.
And
that's more or less where I stopped too.
Yeah, and that was when I thought, like, that was the format I thought the game was going to keep taking.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was going to keep giving me a hub area.
Like a Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, like I thought it was going to give me a bunch of doors I can go into, and then eventually I'll open up Hella's Gate or whatever.
Right, so you thought you'd done Hub 1, what's next?
Yeah, and then I played the rest of the game in another sitting, thinking, am I playing the same game? Like, it seems almost... Like it maybe feels like that they designed that section first and then designed the rest of the game in a different way or something. I'm not sure. But I did think it was interesting.
I almost kind of wish, because I did enjoy that part so much, I kind of wish that the rest of the game
was more like that.
Not like a hub world thing, but more, I don't know, more puzzly than it was maybe.
Yeah.
Or like more engaging puzzles.
Because I mean, the shard trials for the sword, they weren't really puzzles. They was just sort of
events.
Yeah, and a lot of it was just going forward.
I think
choose left or right.
I know we're going to talk about the shard puzzles and stuff. I just, I think I did not like them at all.
Yeah.
And I think that ties into why, because I wanted more puzzles from it, and it wasn't anything.
Right, it just sort of felt like a bit of busy work.
It was. I'll get into it when I talk about it. I don't want to go too far off track.
It's not going to take us too long to get there because, every time there was a section, and it was almost always on a bridge, where it was like, there's like 18 enemies coming at you, and you just got to fuck them up. You just got to push forward and mess up these enemies as you're going forward. I loved all of those sections, because Are we
going into combat here? Are we talking about combat?
No. So this is...
like, why not?
We can.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I mean, why not? This is the section, so you've done the two, you've done Surt, you've done Valravn, you've opened the gate. You've got to... Oh, wait. When you open the gate, that's when you hear that memory about Senua finding Dillion after coming back from the forest. And that's the first time you hear that dark voice.
The darkness.
Well, yeah, it's not just voices, but it's that one really deep voice.
Do you not hear that at the very beginning, very briefly?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, it's the first time you hear it. It's like...
So I'm going to open soft drink. Okay, thank you.
I thought that was a really weird scene. And maybe that's because I did that, and then shortly after that I finished my play session there.
Right.
First, after hearing that voice, 'cause I was like, oh, is this meant to be the darkness? This is like the personification of
darkness.
Of Senua's mental struggle.
Yeah.
But in that, throughout that section where she's like walking up to Dillion's body, which is like, strung up.
That's right, that was there, wasn't it?
Yeah. And
Reminded
it's talking her down, and it's like, it's because you went here and you come back and Dillion's gone and you wonder whether it's your fault, and then that voice starts saying like, but you've got to push forward, and it sort of starts motivating Senua towards the end of that speech. I was like, hang on, is this her darkness? What is happening? And so when you come out of that section, that's when it leads to the bridge, and this music starts, and it's like you going forward, you're gonna go get to Hela. You're gonna bargain for Dillion's life. There was this throughout that section was this motivational build, to this long combat scene where you just sort of.
And they'd already taught you
up.
how to do the combat, so you knew
Exactly.
which enemies did what, and
Exactly,
all that kind of
yeah.
stuff. You were prepared for that.
Yeah.
If we are going to talk about the combat, I want to say that it is the best game that I've played with this sort of combat.
Right.
I guess I haven't played Dark Souls or anything like that because I don't enjoy those kind of games. But
Yeah.
I feel like...
What would I liken it to the most?
I guess also, like, I can only really compare it to The Witcher, which I can't really compare because it's
I'd
not
say-
the same kind of...
No, I'd say that's kind of right. It's similar. There's like a light and heavy attack
Yeah.
and a dodge and a block.
And a bash.
Yeah, you don't have that in
going.
The Witcher, but
Oh, I thought you talked about Hellblade, right? So.
yeah.
I didn't use a bash at all. I didn't even know that was a thing until right now.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that was a circle button.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
That's
so-
what you
Okay.
use. It's good for shields.
And even then.
Oh, alright, so that's the enemy that I struggled with the
Yeah.
most,
Right.
and now I understand
You know
why.
when you do the parry where it's like where you just time it right,
Yeah.
and each thing does a different one. The
Yeah.
block messes up the shields
I wish I knew that.
Yeah. because they're a pain.
I mean, it was probably in the menu, but like I didn't check. I always play games as a offensive. Like I go into
Right.
it. I don't like being defensive.
Hmm.
Just get it over and done with. Like I don't like combat that much in games.
Okay.
And it actually just forces you to be defensive, and it forces you to protect yourself and dodge
and parry.
block and parry. And then when you do get these excellent parries off, and then another enemy will come from behind, and it'll come back from behind, and then the voices will be like, "Watch out behind you," and you'll parry again, and it'll be like 3 in a row, and it's like, I'm gonna cry. It's like it's so satisfying,
I know.
and the amount of testing and work that they've put into making this so good and so satisfying is like it was really good for me, and I really I found myself enjoying every single combat section, especially once especially once I knew how each enemy moved and their skill set and stuff.
Totally. I would tend to agree with you on that. In that, I found it super engaging and satisfying, and sort of tactile, which was good because it was very simple.
Yeah.
And I thought it didn't need to be anything more complicated than that, and that it was so simple and it was so engaging. I thought it was a real a treat because it didn't have to be anything more than what it was.
Maybe that's why I enjoyed it as well, because every sort of fighting game that I've played has always been like, here's 20 moves that you can do.
Yeah.
And this is like, here's the 3 moves you can do.
Yeah, totally.
Use them.
Even The Witcher is.
There's a lot. It has the fire, then whatever is left.
That's right. You've got the signs.
Yeah, the signs. That's right.
You've got the signs. You've got your short dodge, your long dodge, heavy, light attacks.
And each weapon handles differently anyway.
Exactly. There's that. You got your crossbow.
Yeah.
You've got bombs. And then there's so many different enemy
Yeah.
types.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like in Hellblade, it's like 5, 6 different enemies. Less than that.
That's like if you include the bosses.
Yeah, and 1 weapon.
Yeah.
That you'd get at the start. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
It
agree.
was good. It
I'm
really
right there
resonated
you.
with me.
I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I hated the combat.
Really? Really?
I did not like it. I liked it at the beginning. When I got the hang of it, I liked fighting Valraven, I liked fighting Cert, I liked fighting some of the stuff a bit later, but it got to the point where I was like, oh, there's another combat section, and I would do the same thing I did before, and then I would win, and then I would keep going. And up until the very end, when I had to be more defensive, because I was aggressive through the whole thing, and I was just kind of going through it. Though I would get hit, and it would give me the notification of like, hey, Senua's on her knees, get back up.
Oh, you got to tap
press-
the X,
press A,
which
yeah.
I loved.
Yeah.
I liked
Really?
that.
That's the
It's
thing.
it's overdone, I feel.
Yeah, no, but I thought it was an interesting way to like.
I mean, it's really stressful. It's like, oh my god, get up, get up, get up. But
Yeah.
like,
Really? Wait, you supposed to do that?
yeah, did you not do that?
No,
you got to mash.
I never did that.
Oh, okay.
She got
just-
up anyway?
She just got up and rolled away,
Okay.
and then I would go back.
I wonder
to,
if she would have got up quicker if you did.
Maybe
I wasn't getting hit while I was down.
Okay, so maybe not.
I think that's really interesting.
That's cool because it like vibrates and the screen goes like boop 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 boop.
Yeah,
with your press.
I was like, oh, this is a cutscene, and then I got to wait for this to finish, and then I'll get back into the combat again.
No wonder you got a bit tired of it.
No, I mean, like, I got tired of the combat. I, like getting surrounded, like, I get it, like, it's tight, like the camera's very tight on you, and I appreciate that, but I wanted more flexibility of who I was attacking, when I wanted to attack them.
You can.
You
can flick the camera around to focus on the different enemies.
It wasn't as responsive as I wanted to
Okay.
be. Like, it would be, it's like, say, so there's me, and, like, I'm looking at someone who's attacking me, if someone walks in between and I go to it and they kind of get in the way, the
You're
camera will still
attacking
focus on the first person who's
okay.
behind them.
Right, I see.
It didn't auto target enough that I wanted it to, like I would have rathered a. I mean, I would have rathered a R1 to unlock and lock a target.
So in that respect, how did you find the combat in like the very last battle?
The very last battle
Where
was...
there's everyone.
It's just
everywhere.
enemies.
Yeah, and I was hating it for almost the entire time.
Yeah.
I wanted the game to end. I just wanted to get through that section. And so when I was losing, that was when I was like really getting like annoyed at the game. I was like, yeah, no, I just like I lose. Just let me try it again. Let me just get through this bit so I can see how the game ends. Because the last section is entirely combat, and like it feels great when everything works.
When you focus, and she's like fucking going on everyone, and it takes like 2 seconds to kill everyone and stuff.
The focus is badass. The focus feels great.
Oh my god! And
especially with
how
that powerful sword.
How pretty it looks as well.
And
when you do like a fucking flip in the air and it's like straight down in slow mo.
Yeah, and it was a really good way of like the little. I'm not sure what she's carrying around on her side, which lights up when you have a focus.
It's her mirror.
It's Druth's mirror.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right. I thought that was a good way to say, hey, you've got to focus, because it wasn't just like UI elements.
Sort of like
7.
Dead Space with the health down
Did
the
you
spine.
find the voices in your head also said focus, focus, focus
no,
every time it
totally.
happened? And
I always found that really helpful.
I did. If are we going to talk about voices later and how we found them?
Yeah.
Are we going to put it in?
We've got mental health here.
Okay. I really.
And should we finish up the combat first?
It's included in the combat.
Oh,
yeah. Okay.
So when they said like focus, 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 because I was hearing voices constantly, I tuned them out. Like I got to the stage, and so like I don't know, like this is like something that I fucking loved about the voices. It's like they're so constant and so there all the time that you forget they're there.
And they're also saying like nothing.
They're saying nothing, and you just tune them out.
Where's she going? What's she up to?
And so like, when you have this focus, like they'd be like focus. I'm like, I'm trying to fucking focus. Like leave me alone. And it's like, oh no, I have a focus. Like, and on that respect on that topic, I guess is as well. It's like you tune them out so much that when you do focus, when you're doing some of the puzzle ones, everything goes quiet.
Yeah.
And you don't realize how much you needed it.
Yeah.
When it goes quiet, and the fact that the way that they can do that in a game, I don't know, it's incredible.
Yeah, I always found that a bit with Druth's, just going off on this tangent. Like I always found that bit whenever I found one of Druth's storytelling runes,
It went quiet.
and I was being spoken to. It was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, I just get to listen to something clearly for right now, and they get to shut up.
It was a bit of like respite.
Yeah.
And a break from having, like mixed messages at you, like bombarded at you.
But even when those messages are coming through, the fact that you do, when I played, I did tune them out, and you don't even realize that it's quiet. Like it's quiet and it's peaceful.
And they got more intense too, and it got harder to drown out towards the end. I noticed just because of what they were saying.
Sorry, combat. Yes.
Oh yeah, combat.
Like it was mainly just like the combat was the same over and over and over again, and
So you got tired of it.
I got tired of it, and I got like it was more like I actively were not looking forward to the combat sections towards the end.
That bad.
Like I think because like a lot of the puzzle stuff and the story stuff was so intertwined that the combat it didn't feel tacked on, but it felt disconnected from the rest of the game and the rest of the tale. That it was I felt much more rewarded with story and puzzles as opposed to combat, and then you can continue to the next area. And so I just didn't it didn't resonate with me at all, and I just got over it very, very quickly.
Like I felt very, very satisfied every time I beat a boss.
The bosses are its own thing. Like I think the bosses each had their own bit of flair. Like the way Valraven would fly at you.
Yeah, and you had to block it.
Yeah, like I thought that was better because I had to actually like think when I was doing it. Like I had to learn the new patterns. I had to learn when to dodge, when to parry, Parrying is good. I like the parrying in the game.
That's very good.
It was like
So good.
it was satisfying almost every time I did it.
Especially when it starts clearing the mist in that
Yeah.
second section.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and
So
like
satisfying.
and like once you get it down, like you really do get it down.
Yeah.
Especially because, you know, obviously you have to parry at different times on different enemies. The very first enemy, the guys with the
The ones that
deer
look like
heads?
Valravan.
Yeah. I
Sort
thought
of like
they look
the-
like deers, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I know, but they've got like the antlers, you know, like
Yeah.
I don't know. It reminded me there's that angular
The
downwards
angular
head
head.
and
Anyway,
the pointy thing.
That's like the first enemy that you find, and I found that every time that they swung on me, I was parrying because I had done it so often.
Yeah.
I don't know. The combat was good.
Yep.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was exactly what it needed to be. Nothing more, nothing less. I do see why it might have gotten old for you, though. Did you have it set to auto?
I did, yes.
I did until I put it down to easy, just because I wanted to skip through all those sections.
Okay.
Which was like probably last quarter. It was like I wasn't having issues with it. It was more just like if it'll make me go through these sections faster.
Yeah.
Which it did, to the point where I started learning how many hits I needed to do against each
Oh,
enemy
whoa.
to actually get through it.
How'd you guys find the scars on the bodies to show that they were, you know, getting progressively hurt?
I never really saw it. I only noticed that towards the end once. I was like, oh, this guy's cut up. Now he's dead.
I only noticed they would change the way they.
They changed the way they
walked.
walked.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it.
No, but they had more and more cuts on them the more
That's
that you
cool.
attack them,
Right.
which
No,
I
I
found
didn't see
really
that.
cool.
That's cool. I like that. No, I did just sort of treat it as like attack, 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 attack. Oh, they're dead. Good.
Yeah.
Attack, 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 attack.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I treated it, except not with such smiles.
Not such smiles. Less such smiles,
Yes.
please. So the next part of the game, story-wise, was when you're trying to pull the sword out of the tree. Oh no, you confront Hela and
And she's like a big ass head, and that's all you see of her.
Yeah.
It's just like a giant baby.
Baby head.
Yeah.
a baby head burnt on
You
one
big
side.
baby head.
And
And,
then Senua falls right into the water,
Yeah.
and then she burns her own face. I didn't understand
Yeah.
that, but I don't know
So
if I was supposed to.
Senua gets very scared, and then by the time she arcs up, Hela knocks her back, breaks her sword,
That's right. That's when I saw it.
and she's knocked off the bridge. She can't keep going.
Yeah.
I love that section because there was no combat.
That was after the bridge and the boss room after the bridge as well.
Yeah.
Which boss
yes,
room?
Yes.
It was where you first introduced that big axe guy who wasn't a boss, but was that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then you're right. That is that scene
Oh, that's
where
right. Yeah.
Senua's under the bridge is really downtrodden and burns her face with the shard of her sword.
Yeah.
I didn't really get that either.
I don't know if it was. Yes, there's a lot of things in this game that I didn't understand,
Yeah.
and I thought that I would understand, but I didn't. I know we're gonna get into it. I did not understand the ending,
Mhm.
and I purposely didn't look it up because I want to talk about it.
Yep.
And I want to get your
Yep.
opinion because I didn't want to spoil it for myself, I suppose. But this is one of those things that I just didn't understand, and I suppose maybe that was intentional because when
It was quite
you're
quite
looking
complex.
as an outsider to someone who does have some sort of mental illness, you can't understand why they do things.
Yeah.
Can you explain in detail? Because I don't remember this section. I don't remember the burning.
So Senua is knocked under the bridge.
Yes.
She's lit a fire. The darkness is just berating her for having failed. Nothing's going to happen now. You're going to lose Dillian forever. And she's yelling at the darkness, and there's no.
And the voices in her head, say burn yourself, do it.
Yeah.
And she puts the knife up to her face.
So she's had her knife in the
right.
fire, and then she
Yeah,
picks it up
okay.
and touches it to her face, and that wound's there for the rest of the game.
Yeah.
And it's all bruised. The way it looked was really cool.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
all bruised up on this side, and then cut and bloody on the other side.
But then she's I don't know. I didn't get it.
And then it's never talked about for the rest of the game.
So the way this is going a little bit further in, but the way Senua's mother died was she was burnt alive,
Yeah.
and she has half a burnt face when you see her.
Yeah.
And I thought that was maybe a reaction or a
That's
a
interesting.
touch on that, especially because
Although if they were doing that, wouldn't Senua have done it on that side?
Well, like that was what I was confused about. Apart from, like, and especially because Hella has the same burnt face as her mother.
Yeah.
See, I didn't even put those two together until right now.
Okay, we got to leave that for the end.
Yeah.
We got to get there.
Can I ask another question?
Yes.
Hang on, I've forgotten it.
Okay.
Hang on. That's gone. Sorry, continue. That's right. Did you guys, when you finished it, did you guys look up other people's opinions about things?
No.
Yeah, I researched a lot.
Okay.
I'll talk about it later, but I found a Reddit AMA of someone who experienced psychosis who played Hellblade.
That's really cool. That's going to be really interesting.
I took excerpts. Okay.
So we get to the tree with the sword in it, and when you get to the tree, it's about how Senua met Dillion.
Yeah, this is all the Dillion backstory.
Exactly. This is all about Senua's relationship with Dillion. Basically.
Well, like introduction and then falling in love with.
Yeah. So
Can I start?
start.
Can I start talking about this section?
Yeah.
On a podcast.
I hated it.
Hated all of it.
Okay, so when I realized this game was about her getting through her mental illness by by using a man and like by using someone that she loved to pull herself through mental illness, it was like bad.
Okay.
Don't like this.
Okay.
And I put that behind me when it started talking about other stuff, and then when it went back to this huge arc. Like, how long did it take you guys to do the shard section?
A couple of hours, maybe.
I don't know.
A little less, maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah, like maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours, maybe.
Each section, maybe 20 minutes.
Like, I got stuck on one of them, but then I...
Yeah.
So, like, you know, a fair amount of time, and the entire time it's about how Dillion helped her get better.
Yeah.
And this is my main thing that I hated, like, it was disappointing. It was really disappointing because stories about mental, like, you can't, with mental illness, you can't rely on, you can rely on someone else, but, like, you shouldn't, I don't know how to phrase it. This is really bad. I should have had this in my head beforehand. But, like...
So for, like, a story that's about Senua working through her demons, it
was about Dillion helping her work through her demons and about, you know, love helping her find her way. And it's like it shouldn't have to be like,
right.
Have to be like that. And especially coming from someone who does have mental illness and struggling myself to not rely on others and not think about how I need someone else to help me.
Yeah, like self-care and
like,
self-love and stuff like that.
And this has just been like, she would not have done it without Dillion, and I really did not like that at all.
Yep.
And so this whole section is about Dillion, and I felt it very unnecessary and very long, and I did not like the puzzles, and I did not like the
body horror.
The body horror. I did not like how.
Oh, fuck me up.
I did not like how the game used darkness and used that cheap effect of darkness to make you scared, especially in the blind section. Sorry.
Is that just because you're so scared?
No, I wasn't scared in that section.
Oh,
I was not
okay.
scared at all. I was frustrated because they cut this out and, like, you know, it's alright at the start and the Dillion's helping you and it's all great and excellent. And but then you see monsters like go in front of your screen and stuff. It's like, is this over? Like, I don't know. I felt really.
You didn't like the bodies hanging from the rafters as if it was like a Sony E3 press conference?
What game was that for?
That was
that was Left Behind.
No.
The other one.
No.
Oh, the zombie
Days
one.
Gone.
Days Gone. Yeah.
There's my hot take of the podcast.
No, I don't know. I felt like it's been done before a lot where they use darkness as a scare tactic.
Yep.
And a way to make you. I mean, it works obviously, but I felt like it is cheap. A lot of the stuff they did was cheap.
Okay. Question.
In my opinion.
How much of a horror thriller scares aficionado are you?
Not much at all. I've played a couple. I like scary games.
And what about movies?
I can't watch scary movies. Okay. I can play scary games. I love scary games. I was talking to Jack about this last night, actually. Hello, Jack, if you're listening.
Hi, Jack.
I think it's a different feeling than watching a movie than it is playing a game, because, you know, the way that they make games scary is through design and mechanics, and I love that shit.
Right.
Whereas movies, it's like...
It's just trying to scare
you
the
don't
shit
have
out
a
of you.
say in what's happening.
Yeah, okay.
Whereas games you do. And yeah, so I do like scary games.
Yeah.
I have not played many.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But
Yeah.
go
I'm
on.
I'm
What were
sort
you
of
gonna say?
like you, except even worse, where I just don't play scary games.
Okay.
Sam and I tried to play through Amnesia a few years ago, and we just didn't return to it because I don't think we were having that much fun because we were just getting scared. It wasn't fun.
I mean, like as someone who likes horror like enough.
Yeah.
I have seen I like classic horror stuff a lot. Horror in. I mean, like I don't know if this was horror because like it was, but it was.
I suppose I'm mentioning that in terms of darkness being used as a cheap trick.
Yeah, no, and
sort of
like
thing,
and like
in
and
response.
it's fair. Like I'm not digging at using the word horror, but like it made me feel things, but not in the way good horror is meant to make me feel things. Like it was a this is scary, but like there was no why this is scary apart from it was menacing to look at.
It was scary because I couldn't see. It was more frustrating than scary because I couldn't see, and it distracted me from puzzles because I couldn't see where the fuck to put anything because it was dark. And I know we're going to talk about the bridge section, but the bridge section was so dark. I didn't a couple of times I didn't even see the stairs to go up. I was sitting on there. I think that's why I took 10 hours to play it because it was so dark and I just couldn't see much. Or maybe I didn't turn the brightness off. I don't know. But in that in that whole the shard section, especially the blind one in particular, I did not like it
Okay.
at all. Let me just check my notes. See if
So-
I covered everything there.
So I was just gonna say on the tower shard, the one where
Which one was that one?
The house with like
Okay,
the two
so that one,
faces. sort of.
that was the only one that I didn't mind because it did have those
That was
puzzles.
a puzzle-y, yeah.
And
Opening
it
the door
had
for you on the other side.
Yeah, like a different puzzle. Like that puzzle wasn't done at all apart from that section.
No, it was like Valravan. It was
Which is a shame because it's a really cool puzzle.
Yeah.
And I really liked it. And unlocking a gate through this dimension,
So you
and
can
going
get
back
through
into
the
that
next
dimension,
one.
like that's really cool. And so I did like that one. It wasn't scary, that section. But the also like in the shard sections, like you see it's gory and it's like it's not gory, but like you see
which shard, sorry?
so the blind one as well, as well as was that the one with the dead bodies in it?
The blind one is the one, yeah. Like so, there are you're wading through
And
the the waist high water, and there's bodies hanging from the rafters, and then there are these gory,
Bubbly.
yeah, like these like
Gurgly
yeah, like I'm trying to
stalker
remember.
things.
Like there was a game, I think it was called Cry of Fear or something, which reminded me of that.
They were.
Yeah, and I was very I was quite terrified of those
Me too.
until I was terrified at the end when you're just walking straight and you have to try and just get through
And you're like in the water.
you just got to maze your way through them.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happens when you get close to one, and I made sure that I don't know.
Yep, me too.
And I'm fine with not googling that. I was more I think the one that kind of freaked me out immediately more was when you're in the house or the building or whatever it is, the hall, and there's a fire thing chasing you around.
Oh,
That-
you want to talk about that? Which one was that in?
That was
was
the end
the-
of the swamp.
That was
Okay.
the swamp mob one.
So I really liked. Is that the green swamp one?
Yes.
Okay, I liked that because it had the Valravan puzzle, right? You had to look through the gates.
Yeah.
And I liked that part. And then you get
inside the house.
inside
Yeah.
the house. This is okay. That's when I stopped my first playthrough.
Okay.
No, I went to bed then. It was fucking 3 a.m. and this fireman is chasing you through the fucking corridors, and you're trying to do this awful puzzle that I hate. That's just like
Is it random?
I don't know.
don't
Is it?
think.
The
I know.
maze.
I know it's not because I died like 3 times. It's not.
Oh, okay.
And that also it was just bad. It was just bad. I did not like it at all.
Okay.
It's like there's a literal fire like in the entire game up to that point. That is the only thing that scared me the most, and I feel like it only because it was. I don't know how to explain this properly. There wasn't anything else to it. It was just a guy on fire chasing you.
Okay.
And I think that was just very empty,
Well,
I guess.
I was more scared of that because I didn't see what was chasing me.
Neither did I.
Okay.
I just saw fire.
But it was more it like I was engaged enough that I didn't want to look around to see what it was. Which I think, like, so are you saying it was just a man that was on fire?
It's just like it almost kind of looks like a guy with a sheet over him, but not really. It's kind of like
a ghost.
Yeah, I guess, but maybe just like a silhouette of a dude on fire.
Right. Okay.
And he makes noises and stuff.
Like a face?
No face.
Okay.
Like,
oh my god, if I had a face, I would be putting that game down, never touching it again.
like, I think it might have been better if they didn't even have a being.
If it was just fire.
Yeah. Well, like, or if it was a fire.
Or like a rolling fire, like a...
Yeah.
I do like that better, I think, because adding the man, I think...
Not humanized it, but...
It made it...
You know what it is.
Yeah, you know what it is. That it's just like a dude chasing you. It's like, well, this is being done. Like...
Yeah.
And obviously it's been done because it works.
Yeah.
And I was terrified. I had to go to bed. Like, I couldn't play it anymore after that.
Did you go to sleep?
That. It took a long time. And like, I had to go to the bathroom and I walked outside and someone had left the back door open.
And there was a man on fire outside.
No, but because when you go to bed, you close the back
close
door,
up the
right?
house, close it.
The back door was open and like I could hear things out. The worst, bad.
Do you reckon you would have been worse if you fell asleep after the blindness trial?
I wasn't scared in the blindness trial.
Yeah, June wasn't scared by that.
Really? Okay, because like,
that didn't scare me at all.
The blindness one...
It just frustrated me.
I know, it scared the
Yeah,
shit out of me.
I think the blindness one scared me way more because I couldn't... Like,
What scared you about it?
The shape was always changing. Like, the monsters were always changing. They didn't have a defined shape, so I couldn't tell what it was.
As in when you're walking in the house or when you're walking through the forest?
Any of it. Like, at the beginning,
Whenever
it
you
wasn't
could
moving.
see the monsters.
Yeah, like whenever I had to walk fairly close to a monster.
And you could see them and they were
You know what it
bubbling
reminded
out
me
one
of?
side.
Slender.
A little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Which is probably why I hated it.
Did either of you realize that whole thing is sound-based?
I mean, yeah, when you're walking through the house and you have to follow the air and the water sounds and stuff like that.
No,
right?
but I mean as in, like, so there are bottles hanging from...
Oh, yeah, and chains that you
And
can
clicking,
jump into.
yeah.
Yeah, and
I did realise that.
Yeah, and if you do that too much, then the monsters know where you are.
I mean, like, I really do like that
Yeah.
in terms of, like, as a concept. Like, just using sound to guide the player is incredible. Like, it's great, and that's really cool. But then adding, a monster that chases you, I don't know. I don't know. I guess in that scene, I never saw the monster also. I mean, when you're in the forest, I never saw it in the house. But when
Yeah, no,
when
it was
you're
sort of in the distance. You didn't have to get that close to it.
Yeah, like, and like... Wait, so is this the...
You mean that first introduction? You drop into the house and you've got to like work your way around.
and if you get
to one
close,
in the
if
center.
you get close enough, Senua it's sort of red. The screen kind of goes like pinky red.
Oh,
and
really? Okay.
The controller shakes, and I didn't like that. Because at one stage I actually just was like fuck it, walk straight past it because I'm not scared of this thing,
Right.
and I didn't get caught.
Yep.
So
Yeah, like, I think what stopped me being scared of it is I paused the game, went into the options, turned up the camera all the way, and then I sat real close to my big TV to try and figure out what this fucking thing looks like.
like a 3-year-old.
Yeah, no, it really was that. I was like, alright, I'm going to face this thing, and I looked at it, I'm like, I kind of know what that is now, and then I went on.
I do admit, walking through the forest section after that,
Yeah.
and
Where you're like walking down the path.
You've got to find the fire. I found myself avoiding the fire because I'd be able to see the monsters, and I didn't want to see the monsters, which is kind of cool. But that's sort of the only bit that sort of got me.
So
And at that stage, I was tired of these shards, and I just wanted it to be done.
Right. Okay.
So I think that added into it.
Yeah.
Also.
I was getting sadder and sadder because I realised at the end of it I was going to get a sword, which means I was going to have to do combat again. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so like by that point, like part of me actually did miss the combat.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
That's also probably why I didn't like it, because there was no combat. So
Right.
go
Right.
on.
I liked, like I liked the idea of these like Herculean trials.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting, and I liked I liked a lot of the story runes in these sections because they
Like Druth's stories.
well like that like I liked yeah like I
Those
liked
stories
that
were
one.
the entire way through.
Yeah,
Like I knew about
great
some of
voice
them, but
acting.
like
Fantastic
the
voice
voice acting in this game was fucking incredible.
All acting.
All acting.
All of the performance captured, all of it was like just.
And the FMV.
There's a reason it won the Game Awards for best performance. the story of Loki through the.
That's not what I know from Avengers. What did they say? Hela is Loki's daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
Hela is
not
like-
in Ragnarok. It's
Yeah.
not.
So like I am a connoisseur of fine Nordic art in the sense that I watched Thor Ragnarok the day after, and yeah, like it is.
Ragnarok?
Huh?
Nothing.
Yeah, no, like it's Loki is the father of Hela. They didn't like
Avengers spoilers, everyone.
No, it's not.
It's all gonna happen, and that's what's gonna happen in Civil War. You find out that
In Civil
Loki's
War.
actually
Civil
yeah.
War 2.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thor and Loki go
Which
at it
one's
again.
the new one? Infinity War.
Yeah.
You find out that Loki's actually the father of everyone. Anyway.
Daddy Tom.
Oh my god.
God.
There was
Daddy Hiddle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, like I liked all of the stories in these sections, and I liked the idea of the trials. I thought that was interesting and cool.
You know what would have been cooler? If they had the trial. Sorry.
Oh my god. Dude's so mad.
If they had the 3 shards, but it was set out like
It's 4.
the 4 shards. That's how much I care about it. If they had the 4 shards, but it was set out like the Valravn stuff, and like at the end you did a boss, and then you had to do 4 of them. That would have been
And
good.
then at
Oh
the
my
end,
God.
when you're in Helheim, you kill Hela by going through one of the Valravn.
Yeah, let's do that. That sounds good.
I would have been so bored.
I would have been
hire
so
me.
happy that there's no combat.
So, I've been kind of quiet through this section, mostly because I disagree with you a lot in this. I do agree that I was getting to the point, similar to with like Nadine and Chloe, where it was like, they're just like first time we're fleshing out these characters and they've just got daddy issues. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Like I did feel the same way, where it was like, okay,
It's a boy.
Yeah, it's like, it's about a love story. It's about the story. The motivation is about Senua and Dillion. It's about Senua's relationship with this man.
I think.
And so I do see why that's not like it isn't great in terms of tropes and isn't great in terms of new ways to tell a story, especially with a female protagonist.
Exactly. Sorry to butt in.
No,
I
it's
think
okay.
that layered on top of using love and a man to help yourself through mental illness as well is like, 2 bad tropes stacked on top of each other.
Yeah.
Like I will say I'm glad that she wasn't like pining, and she wasn't like she was never like I miss him so much, and wasn't.
No, although I guess that can be assumed. Oh no, but no, it's sort of hard to say. Like I sort of assume that's you assume that's why she's going to get him back, is because she misses him. But also maybe it's because she just feels so guilty because she thinks she's responsible for his death.
Yeah.
So what I really liked about this section was that each of these trials had something to do with the memory that you got to witness at the end of it. So with the burning man running from the... And I didn't see it, so I thought it was a mob, because when you hear it, it's lots of different voices, yelling.
Yeah.
And that, when you get to the end of that one, that's the one where Dillion's father has been killed by the plague, which is what everyone has been saying Senua has brought to the village.
Yeah.
So it's a personification of the village's anger and prejudice against her, and they're coming for Senua, and there's no getting away from it. And then you get... I really liked how that tied in the village's prejudice, because apparently she brings the plague, and then when the plague actually affected her and Dillion's life. And that was... That really... I really saw that. I really appreciated that. Same with in the tower, so the Two Faces one. When you get to the end of that, again, that one was more puzzly and it was less, you got more meaning out of that. But the memory at the end of it became like...
Which memory was that?
That was the one where Senua was on the cliff and Dillion talks her down.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was about how... I don't know, I guess what I really appreciated about these moments was that it was giving more context for what has actually happened in Senua's life and what has been a struggle and what has brought her to where she is today. I guess that I really enjoyed. And the same with in the burial mound on the island when she confronts her father. And I can't remember what happened at the end of the blindness one, and I really want to, but I can't.
The memory at the end of that. I don't
Yeah.
remember.
I guess that's what I really appreciated, is I really liked that. I really enjoyed the memories, but also more than that, I enjoyed how the sections before that leaded into the memories. Now, I think for a part of it, you're right. Like, there wasn't particularly engaging gameplay-wise, mechanically. Like, I was terrified in the blindness section. Like I was talking about holding my breath before. That's when that was me going like,
yeah.
like that was me in that section. That one really got me. But I do see what you mean, where it's not particularly deep mechanically. It's not particularly challenging. It's just sort of get to the next task. And I think that's quite a fair criticism.
I think it was spoilt for me by the themes of it all.
Okay.
Right.
And I think that affected my opinion of it.
Yeah. And I think my interpretation of the ending is also, because you're right, all of that was about Dillian, and if my interpretation of the ending was different, I would have a similar standpoint to you, but the way I see the ending, I find that I feel like it gets past those issues of being stuck with Dillian.
I mean,
of being stuck behind someone dealing with their illness through their lover, of being stuck with a woman dealing with her problems through a man.
How I interpreted the ending was, she throws the skull off the cliff, right? I could be wrong, obviously, because I didn't really understand the ending well. In my head, that was her getting over Dillian.
Yeah.
And her realizing that just do this by herself. But the fact that it's constantly stated over the entire game that up until the point that she is at, she would not be there and alive without Dillian.
That's a good point. That's
and
true.
So the ending of her, it kind of becomes redundant, because the entire game is shown that you can't do anything else without this man love of your life guiding you. And I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. I think what it was for me is that I found that, that's what this game was about. It was about Senua finding her own way through these troubles and coming to terms with these demons and these, like, they were only metaphorically ever demons.
Anything else about the shards?
No, I don't think so. I think we're done with the shards.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got heated a little bit.
It's okay. You're allowed to get heated.
It's also hot there.
It is quite hot in here.
So, the Sea of Corpses, which was a big combat heavy
great
section.
time.
I loved it.
You did?
Yeah.
Yep, and you had a terrible time because it was combat.
I was making jokes about when your game died.
Oh, okay. I will talk to that. I'll talk about that.
Okay.
Should I talk about that now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I don't know what else I was going to say.
So, I encountered a game-breaking bug twice in this game.
Ooh.
Where I had
Is
to...
it the same bug twice? Or?
It was the same bug in different sections.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go out and find someone else's game file and download their game file and delete my own file because
Are you fucking kidding?
Yeah, twice.
What?
Twice. It happened after that as well. I didn't tell you about it.
Holy shit!
Yeah, so after the Sea of Corpses, when you finish all the combat, and she spawns to, like, the new location.
Yeah, to go, like, talk to her mother or something?
Something like that. I can't quite remember. Fell through the world. Fell through the terrain.
No.
Saves as you're falling.
No.
You end up in this darkness. Okay, so this is also what I want to talk about. There's so much stuff in this game where it's like, is this part of the game? Like, I'm not quite sure. So hang on, in my notes. It's really good. So you fall through the terrain, you end up in this black section, and all you can do is all you can hear is her breathing, and you can focus, and her breathing becomes, like, longer, and it's sort of like as if
but
she's,
you also
like,
hear it clearer.
But yeah, and it also becomes, like, it's almost as if she's focusing and, like, breathing. So when that first happened, I'm like, oh, I've just got to focus for a while, and she'll get through the darkness, and, like, breathe normally again.
That would be cool.
So this is under the struggle section. My computer would fuck up a little and not load things properly, / black screen. Couldn't tell if that was part of the design. And then, in caps, edit, it wasn't. So, it's a bug that some people, not as many as I thought, was happening.
It seemed very low.
Yeah, and it would save, and obviously there's no, there's no multiple saves, so you only have the one save. And so, that time, and also in Helheim, when you're running, the first time you're running away from Fenrir, and you get to, like, the gate at the end and you see your mother,
and you
right?
talk to your mother.
So just before that cutscene, I fall through the ground
Oh
again.
my god.
And I have to download a save file, someone else's save file, which
that's so
means the rot on
frustrating.
the arm has gone away as well because...
And the runes are different.
And everything's not... It's not my game anymore.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'm glad it wasn't on console.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, yeah, actually. I didn't think about that.
It
It was probably better on console. It probably didn't happen on console.
Yeah.
Maybe.
But if we're talking about Save Corpses, I liked it because I liked the combat at the end. Apart from the fact that my game fucked.
Yeah, I mostly wanted to talk about the again as with the shards, like the memories at the end of it. Yeah.
About her mother, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just gonna say
Continue.
that. Well, like, I was gonna say that going back on the glitch thing, and like it was interesting that like you couldn't tell if it was real because of like how is the game tricking you or not.
Yeah.
I read someone that was climbing up a ladder. They kept on climbing, and look, one of the voices said something like "Don't look down," and so they kept on looking up, and they kept on climbing, and they all of a sudden they went through.
I love Metal Gear Solid.
It was the worst because they kept on climbing, and then there was no ladder, but the animation was still going.
Oh, no!
And they started getting higher and higher. And
That's part of the game, though.
Like they went through the clouds, and then like everything started clipping, and things started like flashing, and all of a sudden like the screen went black, and she was on the ground again. And then the person who was writing was like, I assume that was not part of the game.
But like you can make a metaphor about it anyway. Like
That's funny.
Yeah.
So I
Save
think
corpses.
this is the point. Oh, it's not quite the same point. But this is sort of towards the end where you realise that Senua's mum had these same issues as well.
Yep.
And coupled with the information about her controlling, abusive father, it becomes quite troubling when you find out that Senua's mum was burnt alive at the stake at basically the...
you don't find that out until the very end, though, right?
Yeah, no,
When
that's
you see
basically
it.
towards the very end.
Yeah.
It's not quite the same as the Sea of Corpses, but let's bring it up now because we need to keep going
We're
on.
just going to talk about Senua's mother in general.
Yeah.
What did you guys? You know how there's a quote and it says she sees her mother in everything in the world. Had you seen faces of her mother in the world?
There was one. There's
Did you see it
there's
in the
one
waterfall?
when you like walk out of either Valravan or Surt. There's one face that you see it on the way back.
So I think it's actually Certs. Yeah, it's before I even did anything. So like I saw a face in a waterfall.
Yeah.
And
That one was cool.
I was like, holy shit, that's really cool. And I had like no idea what it was, obviously, until later. So she sees the faces and things in the everyday environment. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, no,
But that's
totally.
the only face that I saw.
Yeah, that was the only one I really saw too until this stuff came up again.
Yeah.
Like you
Kind of like
if you
hidden
focus
Mickeys.
if you focus on that face in the waterfall, Senua's mum will talk to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I was too, honestly, a little bit scared to look at it.
Yeah, no, it's
Seeing faces in things kind of creeps me out a little bit.
but it wasn't as like scary.
Are you?
and, like,
You're not. Are you told? Like, have you learnt the mechanical focusing at that stage?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, definitely. Yeah, because you have to use it throughout all of the section before then.
Which section was that? Oh yeah.
You have to use it in Cert and Valravan.
No, but I
and
saw it as I was going into Cert.
Oh, and that would have been your first.
That was the first. I can't remember if you
Because at the very beginning there's a room. You get off the boat and there's a room.
that you have to
Yeah.
focus at. Okay, all right, yeah.
So I don't know how I want to keep
I mean,
pushing forward with this.
do you just want to finish the story?
I think so.
Did you want? Was there
Wanna
anything
go
else
back?
about her mother that you want to talk about?
Yeah, no, I do, but only in relation to like how it all ties together.
Okay.
How did you feel about the section where you lose Dillion's head? No, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
Because at that point I thought the head was more of a piece of power.
Right.
Until later on I realized, like, the goal of the head. Because, like, I was still unsure at that point.
Fenris is working up.
Oh, no, that means Ragnarok, doesn't it? Yeah, so, like, I thought it was... I wasn't expecting it. And... I enjoyed the section that followed.
Yeah.
With the dragon in the darkness.
The drag.
The invisible dragon.
The dog.
Well, yeah, it was a dog, but they were calling
It's
it a
wolf.
dragon at that
Were
point.
they? Oh, okay.
Was it not a dragon?
It was a wolf. Fenrir is a wolf.
It was the same.
Was that
monster.
Fenrir?
It was the
Yeah.
same monster that you.
You fought at the end.
Yeah.
Okay, I did not put that. I thought that was just a dragon that hung around there.
No, same thing. Because
I
you're right.
hated that section.
Yeah, I didn't really find it that good.
It's one of those things, right, I was talking about before. It's like, there's darkness, you better run from it. Oh,
Yeah,
you get in the
totally.
light. No, you're fine again.
Yeah.
It's like a water level. It's literally just a water level. You just got to find the sections to breathe in.
Yeah.
And I hated it.
I think that's fair
really
enough.
don't like
I was very like, I kind of wish this wasn't here. I'm going through it to get through it.
Yeah.
And didn't really leave much of an impact on
I
me.
really, really liked the Fenrir fight. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah, that was
Um,
cool. Although I found some, like, when I didn't realize you had to, like, dodge out of the way, there were some unfair things that happened in the fight where if you got close enough to that, like, smoky attack that, like, made everything dark, you couldn't get out of the way in time for the next attack.
Yep.
And then the beast would just kill you. So it was like, what the fuck?
What do you think of the section where it just goes all black and it has the red and the flashing lights and stuff? Because I really thought that was really cool. And you have to
so when it was like the
dodge
very
'cause
last
you don't know
bit,
when it's going to
yeah,
happen.
no, I liked it.
And then
I liked that.
After a while of that, you can know when the light's going to flash and it's going to attack, right?
Yeah.
And then you can parry, and it's like
Yeah.
you parry through this red, screaming faces and stuff like that. It's like excellent.
Yeah,
This
no,
is good,
I
actually.
thought that was great.
Like I wasn't super I'm kind of the same with the section of going from darkness to light to light to light to light. Apart from there was one section where you had to because every single one of those puzzles were.
Are you going to talk about the thing? I'm going to go on. Sorry.
I don't know. I haven't said it yet. I like every single one of those puzzles you could handle head on, so there wasn't really a whole lot of thinking. Apart from there was one which you didn't.
That one with the waterfall that, like, put out your torch.
Yeah.
There it is.
And I was like, oh, like this is this interesting take on that puzzle, and it's over.
Yep.
So I was like, well,
Yeah, I got stuck there.
I got so stuck and I got
Wait,
so
you got stuck?
frustrated. Like, I got so frustrated walking, like, past a bridge, and you get off the bridge and you try and, like, oh, there's a gap there, and then you die in the section
In
to
that
go
area,
through.
yeah.
And it's like, I don't understand. Like,
Yeah.
I literally just don't
Yeah.
understand.
It wasn't obvious. I had to go
that
back.
was the only time that I used a walkthrough, because I could
Yeah.
not get it.
I did one before that. I was getting close to that with this one.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I have to go backwards.
I was just,
I don't remember this area. What?
I had to put the controller down. I had to fucking just, like,
Yeah, no, that was super frustrating.
and,
Oh,
like,
so
the way you die as well, which is on the ground and there's screaming and there's faces and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm so tired.
That just made me want to not fail again. Like, I just didn't.
Yeah.
keep
it
trying.
didn't get me, and I was just like, there
Yeah.
it is again.
like I mean, I kind of accidentally figured that part out. on
Did
its
you
own,
Did you light the torch, the brazier, before you got there, like on the other side of the bridge?
Yeah, did you go through the back way first?
Yeah, I went through, like, I did it, like, I looked at it, and, like, I just kind of looked at the puzzle, like, there's no way for me to go here. This doesn't seem right. So I went around the back way, and I found, like, the bridge thing.
It was cool where you got to just like punch through the bridge.
That
Yeah.
was pretty
Finally got
cool,
through.
Yeah, and, like...
But because it was so
I-
dark for me, I died so many times in that bit too, because I couldn't see
Sounds like
the
your darkness was
bridge.
a-
Yeah, it was
It
probably...
sounds like your
But, like,
brightness was a
I
little-
put the brightness up at the start as well, so
Oh,
I thought,
okay,
like,
I
I
don't
put it
know.
up once, like, surely
Yeah.
that's fine.
My brightness was really high because I was playing during the day and there was
Yeah.
glare on my screen, so I had to keep it up.
My brightness was high just because I'm scared of stuff. But it was, like... I thought that was a strange way to end a puzzle by kind of giving you something different at the very end instead of, like...
That they didn't teach you.
Yeah, like, they didn't introduce you to do anything different up until the very end.
Yeah.
I did, like, I wish they did more of that, and I wish it wasn't just, like, the same rune puzzle on the screen over and over again. And they did more of that kind of stuff. You know what would have been cool if
All,
they
like, shapes.
You'll ever heard about these runes?
you know what would have been cool if they used the Valravan portals
Ah, the Valravan.
and the runes at the same time. That would have been cool.
Ah,
But they
I
didn't.
see.
They didn't for some reason, because they like to keep things separate.
Yeah. Turns
Um,
out. All right, let's tie off this story section. So
Your cat's trying to put my watch over.
Fuck this watch in particular.
yeah, probably happen with your phone next if you leave it there. Ah, that's all right.
It'll be right.
He's got that phone now.
Alright, go on.
Let's tie off this story. So
That's what I was thinking towards a lot of the last section.
so you get to the end, You get to that section where you get to that mirror, and then the voices like come out as a second Senua. And Senua
Oh, okay. Are we
like,
going to talk about the bridge?
the bridge before that? Yeah,
Bad.
With the combat or
No,
puzzles?
combat's fine. You know I like that shit. But
Because I found the combat in that section shite.
I really like the
Perspective
thing. I think that's really cool. I wish they used that more.
Yep.
You know what would be really cool if they used
Oh my god.
the Valraven gates.
What about the
with
bridge?
the perspective things? The bridge I didn't like. I had to use a walkthrough actually for that bit as well because
really?
I couldn't see the perspective, the last bit of it where you have to go on the bridge and look back. That was probably just no fault of anyone but my own though. And it was also actually now that I think about it, it's a darkness thing again.
It seems to be a common theme.
So the
Can you just put your arm out like this? That's it, perfect.
sorry,
No, you're right.
ruining.
We're just
the
keeping the
podcast.
cat off the table.
Oh, imagine that. Oh, that would make for some good audio.
Oh, great audio.
I couldn't see the stairs for a long time. For about 20 minutes I was walking around that section and I
stone
could not
stairs that go up.
see the stairs.
Yeah.
Those stairs were clear as day for me.
Alright,
So
cool. Yeah, no, it's just my
me
problem
too.
then. I'm glad everyone knows now that I fucked up real bad.
When you said hidden staircase, I was really confused of what hidden staircase
Okay,
there
that's
was.
fine then. I do know what you mean about the combat in that section though. The bridge is so narrow that you can't dodge properly.
Yeah, and there was just more and more and more and more enemies. I was like, do I just have to push through you guys? Because that's never happened before.
That was the beginning of the end for me of that, like, I'm just so over this combat. That was when I cranked it down to easy. I was like, I'm just going to get
I
through
know.
it.
I think that's when the game cranked it down for me as well. Because I lost in that section, and then when I had to do it again, I was like,
I think
there are
I-
less enemies here than last
I
time.
think I only had I died once in that section.
Okay.
But I found it really cool how they were pushing you back and back and back.
Yeah,
and
totally.
And you really had to push your way forward, push through them. I think
Yeah,
that was really cool.
That happened a lot where I was like trying to roll through them and
Yeah.
roll backwards, and then I had the rest of the bridge behind me.
Yeah.
It was a cool fight, but it just kept going, and then I lost. It was-
Hella. Should we talk about that?
Yes, let's talk about Hella. So
Hella cool.
talking all from the last confrontation where you're running towards Hella, who's like crouched in the distance, which is weird.
You never fought her.
No, you didn't.
I thought you would have,
It's
and you
'cause
never
Hella
did.
doesn't exist.
Yeah.
So all throughout that ending, that's when you find out that Senua's mum was burnt alive at the stake.
Yeah.
That's when you find out, oh shit, no wonder she's got all these voices in her
that
head.
was-
She's been struggling with horrendous life events for all of her life. A terrible, terrible abusive father.
Watched her mother burn alive.
Was
at the
forced to
stake.
watch her mother burn alive. Her wonderful mother, who was the only other person who saw the world in the same way. Yeah, good one. And it was just...
I hope the audio picked that up.
Yes, my sneezy cat is breathing sneezily.
Actually, before we keep going, let's take a quick break, because I have to go to the bathroom, and my laptop's also about to die.
Okay.
Next, what?
Okay,
Okay,
so
what are we talking about?
We're talking about the final confrontation with Hella.
Yeah.
In Helheim.
In Helheim, Hella's at the front, and you're having this conversation with the darkness.
The front.
The back. She's at the back.
She's in front of you,
I mean...
all the way over there.
Okay, yep, alright, I'm in.
Go on, Kerry,
okay.
go on.
So, what this confrontation showed to me, where Senua is screaming and saying, you know, there was never anything wrong with me. You just tied me down. It was your fault that I'm like this. It was your fault that all of this stuff happened. Owning the reasons for her trauma and her difficulties or challenges. I thought it was great because you go into this game with this. The theme sets you up in that it's this Nordic, medieval, probably magical, mythological adventure. You know, there's runes and there's creatures of darkness and there's demons and you're going into hell to confront a god and all this stuff. And then as you go through the story, you know, Senua deals with her struggles. Senua deals with her challenges and her past events, and really it's just a game about her dealing with her illness. And I love that. I love that it's not about the myth. It's not about the magic. It's about Senua getting through this struggle. And I thought that all the way throughout the game, as it became more and more clear. And then Senua started calling the bullshit. You know, Senua started being like, there was never any problem like that. Jeremy, here you go. Cat is not for table. There was never any darkness. Senua was never going to bring the plague to the village. I thought that was awesome the way the game acknowledged that that this personal struggle was so hard in the game itself without having to say it in a like a post credits, like we really wanted to highlight the you know, it was a great realization of the point of this game. I really liked that in Confrontation because of that message crystallized in the game. And her yelling back at her dad, like, fuck yeah, you're an asshole. Like, you're a shit human being.
Awful.
And also, there was this point in time, because that's when he's talking and you get that, and it's that same voice of the darkness. I thought at the start, because you hear that voice of the darkness, and then you go to that one where Senua confronts her dad, and her dad's just got this normal voice. But I was like, is that the voice of the darkness? Is that the same voice?
Yeah.
And then, you know, it gets to the end, and he's got that voice. I was like, I fucking knew it. What a shitbag. How did you, I mean... Oh, that's the wrong spelling. What did you think, aside from the combat, Jeremy, what did you think of the message in that last confrontation?
Yeah, like, I thought it was good. Oh my god, I'm getting tired. I thought it was done pretty well. Like, I didn't really have any major issues with it. I was kind of just coasting at that point.
Yep.
Yeah, like I didn't have any like strong feelings towards any of it. Like,
cool.
like not in a negative way, but just in a way which
yep.
was like I get what they're trying to do, and I'm cool with this being.
You're on board.
Yeah, like I'm with you every step of the way, Senua.
Cool.
June.
Like I was saying before, a lot of that I didn't understand.
Like with her dad's voice and...
Yeah, like I didn't realize that until just then.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was the same.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what did you think the shadow was?
I
Or you
didn't know.
Right.
Like I literally
really?
just did not know. Yeah.
Oh, because it was the same face that you saw when you see Senua's mum getting burned. It's the same figure. It's the same face of the figure standing behind Senua.
Okay.
That's how I recognize the face.
Yeah.
And he's got that same voice at that time too.
Okay. See, it didn't really make sense to me.
Maybe it was too dark.
When the face showed up, it's just like, why is there a black screen talking again?
It's like, did my game crash? Do I need to reload a save?
Do I need to focus?
That's kind of a shame that I didn't get that, and I don't know why. Yeah, I don't know why that. Like I was saying before, I feel like this game doesn't necessarily not cater towards, but like represent just psychosis. It represents mental illness.
I agree.
As a whole.
Yeah.
And I thought that coming into this, I would understand, and I would understand a lot of it. I did, a lot of it I took personal messages from.
Yeah.
But I thought that I would understand the ending and stuff more than I actually did.
Yeah. So the end cutscene, Hella stabs Senua.
Yeah. And then what?
And then Dillian talks to Senua for 5 minutes.
That's right. Oh, that's right.
And then she's left dying there on the ground. Hella walks over and picks up Dillian's head. You see Hella properly for the first time in this scene. And Hella is covered on one side in runes.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
In the same runes that you've been seeing with your focus, with your vision on this one side. And then on the other side is entirely burned. Just like the way Senua's mum was.
Yeah.
And so I'm seeing this and I'm like, Hella is this representation of Senua. Hella is...
Oh my god, she is, you're right.
Hella is Senua's struggle.
Yeah.
That's what Hella is. Hella doesn't exist. Hella is just Senua's...
I'm having a crisis.
A crisis?
Like, I'm only just realizing this now, and
It
I'm
was
like...
Senua's sacrifice.
Sort of?
I mean, like, the name doesn't fit as well as, like, you know, you would hope. But, like, yeah, it's...
It fits with the original
Yeah.
quest, which is, you know,
get
giving
back
yourself
there,
up for the
yeah.
hole. So, Hela walks over, muttering nothings that you can't hear, walks over to the edge of this precipice, lets go of Jillian's head, and the camera pans down, so all you see is the head. It pans back up.
Kerry's looking down for those listening at home.
Oh, thank you, Jeremy. And the camera pans back up, and you see it's Senua who's there. Not dead on the ground. It's not Hela, it's Senua who has just let go of Dillian. Literally let go of Dillian.
Yeah.
Metaphorically and literally.
And then Hela's laying on the ground dead.
No, Hela's not there.
No, you see Hela on the ground.
Really?
Yeah, at the end. 100%.
No.
100%. Mm-hmm.
No.
100%.
I remember... Okay. Pardon me.
Please find out, because I am like maybe 95% sure.
Maybe it was too dark.
That I
I'm
saw
kidding,
some-
it wasn't dark. It wasn't dark. I don't see nobody.
Like when she's walking away at the end.
She's walking
Yeah, I
away.
think that rings bells.
Yeah.
Hell's bells.
Hella's bells.
Hella's bellas.
She's walking away.
I don't see nobody. Oh,
Ooh, what,
oh, wait a
what
minute.
is that?
Oh, wow.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right.
Yeah.
Okay, okay,
Yeah.
my bad. Okay, there's Hell's body.
Yeah, so does that change your... Does that change... This,
No.
well, this is also why I was confused, right? Because, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it doesn't change my interpretation of the
Yeah,
ending.
interpretation's the right word.
So,
Oh my god.
yes, the ending. Yeah, no, I was talking with Ollie about this.
Friend of the show.
Yes, friend of the show, Ollie, also game design graduate. You'll need to flick that. Yeah, you got it.
Thanks, I know how to turn power.
Sorry, I forget to do it. Is why it said
Pretty
something.
dark.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Never
no.
coming back. This is my last episode.
I found that there wasn't. Yeah, no, I found it was pretty clear. It was like this was Senua getting through, coming to terms with what had happened
Yeah.
and who she is and who she was going to be. Because at the end she says, "Come with us. We have more stories to tell." Who's us? The only thing I could come up with, because I mean everyone's dead, is her and her voices.
Yeah.
It's like, no, this is me coming to terms with everything that's happened. All the terrible things that have happened to me, to my mother, to my lover, and how I'm going to move forward with that. That's what that last scene was. You never confront Hela. There's never any battle with Hela, because Hela doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And Hela's dead on the floor there. Let me make a new interpretation
Thank
here
you.
on the fly. Hela's dead on the floor there because that's her demons. She's killed off her demon. She's killed off what has been giving her so much strife for so long, and now she's moving on.
Is that how you interpreted it?
Yeah, like it was. Yes. Like to make a long story short, like that was. Like Hela is not. Like Hela is the personification of Senua's like inner struggle. And the story was her getting over and destroying her struggle, which in a way fell a little flat for me because it's not always that easy. Like a lot of the time, it's not always that easy.
So what do you mean by that easy?
It's not always.
All you gotta do is think hard enough, and all your inner
like-
battles will be solved.
Yeah, like it's not just you. It's not just like the harder you try, the more.
Like mental illness
It'll
is
go
always
away.
gonna be there, always.
I
Your
mean, like-
entire life, always.
That's true.
I think
so. Maybe it wrapped up a little too neatly.
Well, like I think it's more like I'm still unclear if the inner demons that she's trying to get rid of is her mental illness or it's just her grief and loss.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of took it more as that.
Yeah, like I don't think it's her getting through this to get rid of her psychosis.
No, I agree.
But I
mean,
do think that message was muddled a bit, as if like all of her problems are her psychosis, which
Yeah.
is like in this context I think is incorrect, because like her psychosis is a byproduct of her abusive relationship,
Yeah.
like not a byproduct but a repercussion.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I think we get to see that it's not all of Senua's problems don't end at there are voices in her head. It is
Yeah.
terrible circumstances that revolve around her life. There are terrible things that have happened to her. I kind of feel like that's the it's not that's what I took away from it at the end, is that she's gone through this process to deal with the horror of her loved ones dying or being cruel or being hurtful.
Yeah, and like to go further into that, because we're kind of done with the story at this point.
Yeah.
Earlier I mentioned that I found Reddit AMA about someone who experiences psychosis as who played the game, and
Which I would be, I mean, it's easy for me to say, but I would be hesitant to do that.
Right,
That
yeah.
with me, because this game's so intense.
So like they mentioned that it was almost cathartic for them.
Oh wow.
That like there were parts where they were so happy to see such a accurate representation of at least their version of psychosis, which they mention in the AMA that it is from serialized post-traumatic stress, I believe is what they said, where it's a like a series of traumatic events that has happened to them.
Yeah.
And they were saying, like it is incredibly accurate to them at least. Like to an extent where if Senua's voices say "look out," their voices respond to "where?" "Oh, I see," repeating, and then Senua's voice is "focus," and then their inner voice will say "good catch, good find, good catch."
Oh my goodness.
Which is like,
oh wow.
that's like a very very fucking interesting thing to read.
Yeah. It's an interesting interplay.
Yeah, and like they, so like the person just mentions that it was a. As what I can gather from the AMA, they didn't feel like the inner demon was represented as the psychosis that Senua experiences as.
I don't think that either. I think through the entire game, those voices help her.
At points.
For the most part, there's
most part,
times
they
where they're fucking with her a bit. Where
I mean,
they're
like, obviously,
it's a trick. We told you it's a trick.
Yeah.
And then it's never a trick.
They do ridicule her a bit.
They do. But a lot of the time they're also motivating and like, you did a good job, like, well done.
Yeah, no, totally. There are definitely both sides.
Yeah.
And then they get all self-preserving when you get towards that mirror. They're like,
that's right, just like, I don't want to die.
They're getting towards the end. What's she going to do? Wait, if she dies, then Senua, turn back.
Yeah.
Turn back, Senua. Like, that was really interesting.
I don't know. I almost don't feel like the voices are... I mean, obviously it's a bad thing. Like, obviously psychosis isn't great, but
yeah. It's not like the villain of the piece.
Yeah, it's not. It's really not. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. That's super interesting. So, Jeremy, you said you read up on a bunch of stuff, and neither of us have. So, like, what are some tidbits?
Well, like that was one. This was one of my later thoughts, where when I beat the game, I originally thought Hela's design was a representation actually of Cert and Valkyraven, because on one side it's burnt and charred, and the other side looked like it was written riddles and illusions, which like I put those together and I was like, I wonder how that.
That's funny.
Yeah, except like later on, I do believe it's just the representation of
herself.
Yeah, well, like her struggles and demons.
Yeah. Her past.
Yeah, like
I think that just go back to that.
No,
I think that interpretation of that being her struggles is so broad, and like even now that I think about it, like runes, and like obviously the burning is her mother, but like how did you come to the conclusion that was herself?
Because throughout, whenever they spoke about Senua's mother, they said that they had a gift to see things in the world that others couldn't.
Yeah, like
And-
the vision is what it's called. No.
Yeah, I don't know.
It has a name. The focus.
Yeah, more or less. But basically, what those focus puzzles are meant to be is that, and those perspective puzzles is meant to be that sort of. I'm seeing like Senua and her mother can see different things throughout the world. They can see. Yeah, I don't know. That was sort of the gameplay representation of that. So to see that on one side of their body written all over, it was like. It's been an intrinsic part of Senua's story up until this point. Has been these runes that only Senua can see. These runes that have helped Senua to get forward to where she is now.
The way, I think, because I don't even know. I think I didn't come to that conclusion, obviously.
Yep.
I did come to any conclusion. I don't know. I just thought that because the runes were in everything and they were on everything,
Right.
that I didn't make that connection. I suppose.
Okay.
Same
Cool.
with like the burnt face.
Yeah, that
The
I
body.
noticed specifically because I noticed when Senua's mum, when you see that scene of her burning, you only see one side of her face being burnt.
That scene was the only scene that like made me feel ill.
That it was fucked.
I hate like burning alive stuff, and like
Oh,
that
totally.
was like that was the only scene that actually was like I can't watch this.
That was foul.
Yeah.
That was foul.
But
I totally
sorry.
don't blame you.
Go on.
No, that is my response.
But it's really interesting. I'm really glad that I didn't look up anything, and then I've heard it from you guys' perspective, because obviously I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think you sort of make a good point in that.
I think it's so broad and so interpretive that you can really just like it can be anything.
Yeah, and like
And you can interpret it how you want to interpret it. I feel also
totally, and I think that's exactly what I have done, because I'm someone who, I know this about myself, I'm someone who, when I read a story, when I watch a movie, when I play a game, I do want that closure, and I do understand that a lack of closure can be a powerful thing in a story in and of itself, but I will go looking for that closure, and so that's in that interpretation I can find that. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's not that simple. And thinking of it like that is too neat. It's too neat. It's too closed off. And because that's just where my brain took it. So yeah, I'm not sure. I definitely think it is very open. It's the most interpretive part of the game, is that end cutscene.
What did you... I'm interested to hear what you both thought about the way they wrapped up Rot, because it kind of just went away.
Yeah, although you see in, like, I loaded up the cutscene before to check whether Hella was dead on the floor, which she is.
Yeah. Like, doesn't it, like, it goes... Like, doesn't it consume her and then...
Basically.
Yeah. Like,
she's covered in blood and mud and blackness, and, like, she is a mess at the end of that game.
So what was, like...
why did that go away?
Well, like, what was the point of it in the end? Like, why...
The metaphor for it. Like, what was the point of that?
Yeah, like...
If it wasn't wrapped up.
What does Rot mean?
Would it just be, demons again?
Like, it could be,
Like, it's gone at the end.
slowly consuming,
Or
but...
maybe it's, like, consumed her and she's accepted it.
Yeah, like, I
Something like that.
just thought, like, that was something which never... Like, it wasn't a puzzle piece that fit in with the rest of the story for me.
Yeah, not at the end. Yeah.
It was kind of just dealt with and moved on and finished.
Yep, no, that's a fair point. I don't know. I haven't really thought about that much. I don't really know what to tell you.
Let us know what you think in the comments below.
Well, yeah, no, I was actually going to say that, like, we are on Twitter at Game Spoilers Pod.
I think there's a comment section on the podcast website.
Oh, really? Also, that's gamespoilers.com. So please, if you wanna have a discourse with us, we all have access to that account. We also all have our own Twitter account. So send messages to us and we'll respond if you want to talk about this over Twitter or you
Like,
can
what
email us.
was your interpretation? Like, is your interpretation different to what? Obviously not mine.
Yeah.
But like Kerry's, or like, it'd be interesting.
Yeah.
The little details in things, right? Have you finished with what you wanted to say?
Yes.
Okay. So I just wanted to go through just the stuff that I missed.
Yeah, totally.
I had a whole section about like details and like just like little things that they didn't have to do that they did. Every time, like, I'm not sure if you noticed, but the entire game, the camera wasn't still. Like, as she's walking, the camera was wobbly.
Really?
Through the entire game. Nothing is perfectly in focus. Through the entire game. Like, nothing is completely perfectly in focus.
Yeah.
Which is really cool, also.
Yeah. There are a lot of times when you focus and you're looking at, like, the runes, and it sort of, like, distorts and you see, like, double images. I thought that was sick.
That's very cool.
An amazing effect. Very affecting as well. Affecting.
I'm interested in the process of them filming the scenes where the camera looks directly at Senua. If they had originally someone with a fake camera to position it, or like I am curious if they did that after the fact with motion capture because they've just got a big empty space for Senua.
There are so many video docs of them making this game.
I didn't want to watch them before I didn't want to watch anything before I went into this. But I don't know. I think because a lot of the time Senua still looked like a game character, and then stuff with Dillian and stuff, and the faces in the background in the cutscenes, they're just obviously
they're just videos.
And they're just videos, and I that took away the immersion for me.
Totally.
I really didn't like that. I wish they modeled them and made them
like seeing it
not
like,
real people, I guess.
There's not often where you these days where you say FMV.
Like you know what it felt like? It felt like I'm playing what is that game? Like really old horror games where they use actual people in game environments.
And exactly.
That's what it felt like, and I really just did not like.
I know. I feel the same way. That's because that's what they used to call those full motion videos. That was FMV. Yeah. And like it's like a 90s thing to do.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I mean, obviously, it's because they just didn't have the budget to mocap 6 other people and get all of their performances.
I mean, it still worked fine.
It
worked amazingly. Like, I don't know.
They could give it like a muddy quality as well. They could put filters on it and have them pass over things. But
I think. Excuse me. Sorry. I think.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Sorry for keeping you up.
Just over you two talking now. That aspect reminded me of in Star Wars Rogue One when there are, so you haven't seen it, there are characters which are entirely animated in that because it's a prequel and some actors have died since 1977.
Oh yeah, and they do recreations of their faces.
So they did a complete digital recreation of this actor who had died a long while ago. And
he's got like 30 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, he's got lines,
Wow.
He's got whole scenes of himself.
Wow, that's actually incredible.
You notice it. You totally notice it. And it's in the Uncanny Valley. And that's what it kind of reminded me of. Like I didn't hate FM. Like I didn't hate the FMV. I thought it was interesting, and it made me feel. It made
it feel real.
Well, like it made me feel like nervous. It unnerved me seeing a real person on the screen, looking and talking directly at me.
Yeah.
And I think I think that worked well. I thought it didn't work as well when it was the mother on the rock talking to Senua.
Yeah, that was always weird because there was like the template underneath, and then the face would like move over on top of it.
Well, like I didn't mind that, but it was more seeing a real person being moved over in a digital environment. It just was like it just kind of it took me out of it just a little bit.
Yeah.
Not too much.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, hang on, I had more. Sorry. I really liked if you were still enough and looked at the rot in her arm, you could see the blood pumping through.
Oh, the pulsing, that
was really cool.
And it looked really
interesting. I didn't do that.
Because it looked like it was like on top of her skin.
Yeah, and
so
it was really veiny and stuff as well.
Yeah, but it didn't look like her veins.
Yeah. That was really cool. I really liked that.
Like venom.
I'm very glad I didn't stop and look at that. That would have made me want to vomit.
The speaking directly to the camera thing, I think that was really interesting because it makes you feel like you are the darkness. Like it is you as a player.
Yeah. Although sometimes you were Dillian and
sometimes you were Dillian and all that kind of stuff.
And her father.
But it also like brings you into the story.
Yeah, it does.
It reminded me.
And it makes you uncomfortable, like you were saying before, which is really cool.
It actually reminded me of House of Cards. In a way,
right? Where the character's talking to the
like you get addressed a few times, not enough that it's like it's your story too, but like enough that like as if Senua knows that there's a person going that there is someone watching her go through this.
Yeah. Can I just say on top of that as well, what an amazing performance. Like, I don't think we've said that, but Melina Jurgens, I think is her name, who's never really done acting before.
Yeah, like that was in her acceptance speech, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
This was her first acting.
That's actually incredible.
I watched a 10-minute video doc. It was like the one thing that I watched, and it was about her getting this role. She's Ninja Theory's video editor.
Yeah.
For trailers and for this video doc series. And so while they were still in the hiring process, they used her as like a body double to get proportions and to get like the capture technology working and as a test bed. And it just got to the point where they're like, how would you feel about taking on this role?
Yeah.
And so, she was really uncomfortable, and she'd have to have like, she wasn't used to it, and she'd at the start like have to ask people to not look at her while she was doing all this like intense emotions. But like, there's so much where there's just
did
raw
she voice
emotions
it as well?
Yeah, fully motion
because
voice
the
capture.
screaming and the yelling in that game is incredible.
It's
like, I would not be able to put that on.
It's an incredible performance, especially for just a
First time.
Yeah. It's remarkable. And I think we're all really lucky that she was given the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. I also think it's adorable that she accepted her award in her motion capture.
In her mocap suit, yeah.
Oh, that's really cute, actually. I haven't seen it. I should go watch it.
And then, like, Andy Serkis was the one who announced the category.
Yeah.
And she walks up and she's like, oh my god, I'm such a big fan. And I was like, oh. It's awesome.
Did you guys notice that in the entire game you don't pick up and move stuff at all? You don't actively touch anything apart from the bridges. It's all the puzzles are done in your head.
Yeah.
And like everything is visual.
Yep.
Which is really cool, and I really like that.
Yeah. I see that. That's cool. Here's a question. Were the enemies ever real?
Well, the enemy's inside us the whole time. I mean, like that's kind of like that is one of the questions of the thing.
Yeah.
I think no.
I agree.
Because they like appear out of nothing.
Out of nowhere, and then they disappear.
And then you got to focus to hit them sometimes and stuff as well.
Yeah.
I had some quotes that really like got me.
Yep.
I've got 3.
Oh, I had a couple of those
you
too.
Had some quotes.
Go
on. You cannot overcome suffering if you refuse to look at it.
Yep.
Which fucked me up.
Yep. Totally get that.
Would you give up the beautiful world that only you have to just get rid of the nightmares?
Yeah. I remember. I think that was at the end of the blindness section. That was part of Dylan's speech.
I think it was. Yeah. And the other one is kind of generic. The hardest battles are fought in the mind.
Yeah. I had a couple. There was this one because there was sort of this one character which was this one voice of clarity in Senua's head.
The narrator.
Yeah. That one lady who's the narrator. And she would go on these big long chats, especially in the Cert and the Valraven section, like because that was all about how she went to the woods and whatever. But after those points, when I think when she's a bit fucked up before getting the new sword, she says things like, "It's funny, we all say we want to see behind the veil, don't we? But once we do, we mostly just close our eyes and pretend that what we saw was never really there."
Yeah, which is like about acceptance and stuff.
Yeah. And this other one was, have you ever died before? It's a serious question. An illusion of self is shattered. You feel it. A stranger in your own body. And it was like,
I remember that one. I remember wanting to write that one down.
It's so...
There's like, you could take every single word of that game and put it in its own quote.
Yeah, like it's incredible. There's a reason why. It's not just because the game was like dark and intense and scary that I thought it was going that all these hours long, as I said at the start. It's because it really hits home. The all of the dialogue is so well crafted.
Yeah,
it's like it's full stop.
It is.
Game is.
I think there's a long section, and I think through the entire game, there's a real emphasis on how she's struggling to get past the fact that she thinks that she's affecting others.
Yeah.
And I think that's such a big part of mental illness for a lot of people is that you don't want to affect others with, your mental health. And the fact that I honestly don't think that's actually redeemed well enough in the game.
Not really. There's a little bit, because there's one section where Dillian's dad has died, and he screams, "You did this,"
Yeah.
and she gets really fucked up about it.
Yeah.
And then later in one of the next sections, when she's on the cliff, she says, "You told me that it was my
That's
fault,"
right. And he's like, "I didn't say that."
and he was like, "I didn't say that at all."
Mm.
But you're right. That was really the only sort of
Yeah.
addressing of that
I mean,
issue.
if you go neurotemptation, like she gets rid of her inner demons and stuff, but like that's never, and it's such a big part of the story, and it's never.
Yeah.
It sort of just dissolves, and it's not really.
Yeah,
comes
they sort of explore
this-
it and then tuck it away.
Yeah, and it's like I think it really should. I think they really should stress the fact that people are there to help you. They're not, you're not affecting other people.
And you're not bringing bad upon them.
You're not. Yeah.
Which I think in turn is what the plague was symbolizing.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, absolutely.
That by her being there dealing with something like this, she is making everyone around her worse or unwell or to a further extent, like her psychosis would be spreading to someone else or something.
Yeah.
And that's
that got me real good. Like that section, that theme in general. Is the one that stuck out the most to me.
Can I point out one of the best payoffs in the Valravan puzzle?
Please do. You know I like that shit.
There was this one section where there was like a turret, like a castle turret, and you couldn't get through the door. And so you go through the gate, and it takes away the wall, and you can open the door. But then you can't do anything in there because there's nothing there. So you have to go back through the door, put the wall back, go through the door that you've opened, and then there's stairs up to the next
That was
bit.
like my absolute favourite
How
of the entire...
good.
Oh my god,
The
it was
payoff.
so good.
I think I've
like-
never seen you dance to a puzzle design that well.
Like
I don't even like puzzle games that much. But like, this is like... I enjoyed it. I had so much fun in that section.
I saw the solution, like, as I was, like, at the door. I was like, oh, I gotta go back over. I'm so stoked. I was like, this is gonna be great. And I got to the end and I was like, this is great!
Yeah. Man, that section was so good. I wish they did more with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reiterate that I think I would have gotten tired of it, but
Well, I know we did this in Lost Legacy as well, but like, you obviously know my favourite bit. Your favourite bits?
oh. Fuck.
You can't swear on this podcast.
Oh.
Please do not swear on my podcast, thanks. Seeing the sword get shattered. No. I don't know. Like there wasn't... It's hard to figure out because, like, there wasn't a part where I'm like, yes, I enjoyed that. Because the whole time I'm anxious.
I know, it's a grueling
like,
slog.
It is upsetting. The part I enjoyed the most, I'm just reading through the chapter names to see which one stands out. Like, I liked Valkraven's Keep.
Valraven.
Valraven, sorry. For some reason I keep putting a K in there.
Right, it sounds kind of cool.
Probably because of the word Valkyrie.
Valkyrie Raven.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Whatever that means.
I liked the tower with the two
yeah.
versions of the tower, which you have to keep going back and forth to.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially because the way they told story through that was interesting.
Totally. It was very, it's like that section in Dishonored that people clamour on about in Dishonored too.
Except for the bit where you have to cross the plank to get to Dillian. And I died. That was when I had to look up how to cross fucking bridges because I just couldn't do it. And I was like,
all that
I'm
side to side.
literally, it's like up to here, like the rut.
Yeah.
And I if I do it one more time and die, I can't play this game anymore.
And then your save got
lucky
messed up
your save
anyway.
got-
Yeah, it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah, probably that.
Yeah.
I liked the tower a lot.
I think for me, I'd have two sections. One being that first bridge where you're fucking everyone up. Like, these are combat sections. And it's that one I spoke about where the music sort of lifts you up and it's like, alright, I'm just going to fuck everything up. And then you do, and it's awesome.
The Golden Bridge at the start.
Yeah, no, the first bridge after you get the two seals from Valraven.
Yes, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Bridge to Hell.
Yeah, but then also once he started messing things up with the blue sword, with the new one. That was awesome.
What about the music in the final battle?
Oh, that was awesome.
that was very cool. I loved that a lot.
That was amazing. I loved it. But also, I think one of my favorite things about this game, and it's not a favorite bit, but it's the thing I enjoyed about it the most, and I mentioned this before as well, was the using the illusion of myth and challenges of the gods and hell and demons and stuff like that, and then breaking that apart and realizing it's just about Senua trying to make it through.
Yeah, it's a great track backdrop.
It is. It's awesome, and it's something that you can take with you in the present day, because it's not about Hela or the Norse gods. It's about Senua's struggle.
Yeah.
Do you want to do like a roundup? Like, you know, if you were going to give it like a score, but like don't give it a score.
Yeah.
I'd give it a play. Like, yes, I will
Play
play
it.
this. I recommend this.
Definitely play it, I would say, but don't be afraid to take breaks.
Major content warnings throughout the entire thing. Of,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
mental
I know,
illness,
right?
body horror.
We should probably put that in like the summary of the. Obviously, it's that Hellblade, but like for warning.
Yeah, that's a good point. We need to, yeah.
To me, it was a disappointing game.
Okay.
Because I guess I went into it expecting more.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, like, I was unhappy with a lot of the themes and how, I think mostly because they didn't, a lot of them, they didn't sit with me as I thought they would.
Yep.
But a lot of them, you know, the tropes about the men and stuff like that, I didn't like.
I think that's more than fair, yeah.
Yeah, and, I mean, I know it's not it is a game for me, but I know it's not a game for me, I guess.
What do you mean?
As in, sorry, I know it's not a game made for me.
As in, like, your personal
As in, like, I don't have
story?
psychosis, so
Sure.
it's not a game. I mean, it is a game for everyone, but, like, I mean, it's not a game for me.
Yeah.
And even though it's kind of is a game for me, it's not properly a game for me.
Okay.
Sorry, that's really...
So
Sorry.
it's dealing it's dealing with something that hasn't been dealt with before, being mental illness, but it's not specifically stuff that
it's
you
Is there
have
something
dealt
that
with.
it specifically resonated with you? Or is that not?
No, but it did, though.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's just, like, forget I said that. Cut that out.
Okay.
No, it's fine.
Quick, say something terrible so Kerry has to cut it out. Pin number.
What was I going to say? I think, oh my god, I had a train. This is awful.
I mean, if
Sorry.
we're cutting it out, it doesn't matter how long you take.
I don't know. I think that it disappointed me, and it is an important game,
Yes.
and it is important in terms of its themes, and more games should talk about mental illness. Its metaphors were excellent,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, aside from the fact that I wish they were clearer
Yep.
in the way they redeemed things, not redeemed things, like resolved things, sorry. But I did not enjoy it as much as I should have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you have to enjoy something. I don't think you should feel like you have to enjoy something more or less just because it tackles things.
No, I mean, yeah, and I mean, maybe it's easy for me to say that I enjoyed it so much tackling this thing that I, didn't know about, because I don't have any expectations of what it should be dealing with, because I personally haven't had to deal with any kind of serious mental illness myself. Maybe, it's sort of like when you're first exposed to proper social issues for the first time, and it's like, oh wow, this is something, and then you find out that there's people who are way in front of you, and it's like, that's not enough, this isn't dealing with this issue enough.
Yeah.
It could be tackling it in a much more nuanced way. It could be dealing with it in a much more sophisticated way. This is a great first step. We need to do more.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
And especially for stuff like this is not usually tackled in AAA games.
Which is why it's good, and which is why it's important. But I feel like you could have done it better.
Yeah, no, and I'm saying, this also isn't a AAA game.
Yeah.
In budget terms anyway.
Mm.
And I'm glad the game exists, totally. And like certainly hope Ninja Theory takes what they've learned here and keeps going. And I would also like to see more games of this scale, I think.
Yeah.
Like just from like all like themes aside, like the 8 to 10 hour like $40 to $60 game Australian prices is severely like lacking in terms of like quantity.
Totally. It's undervalued.
Yeah, and like it's usually that sort of area is reserved for remakes and remasters.
Yeah.
Which is fine. They have their place too, but like it's good to see a new IP from a studio which has obviously got plenty of talent.
Oh my god.
Do something which, like, if you pitched it to a AAA, like it was pushing the ladder in some ways.
Oh, absolutely.
Which I credit where it's due.
And then, there is a lot that is due here. Like I just said, this is an incredible foray into this subject matter that hasn't been dealt with. This hasn't been dealt with so
head on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like it's upfront
explicitly.
That's it.
Cool. Well, I guess that's about it then.
Shall we talk about? I mean, we don't really know. We haven't really decided on a game for next month.
No, we haven't.
Time of recording.
Tweet suggestions if you have them.
Yep, we've got a list of games that we made
2 hours.
2 hours ago.
Oh, don't say that. We're really professional.
Yeah, we are professional. We're so professional. Not even going to say how professional we are. No, we do have some ideas. And we've had people give us ideas as well. Things like Oxenfree or Guacamelee, maybe Sonic Mania. It doesn't have to be something so story driven next time.
We're talking about Tacoma as well.
Tacoma, yeah, something more story driven. Like it's like, but we're still trying to aim around that sort of
you can't really
indie
spoil
experience.
Sonic Mania.
No, I know exactly. That's a game club about playing a game. That's like an arcade experience sort of thing.
Yeah.
Can we not play Sonic Mania? Sorry.
Maybe we'll put it up to vote.
Kerry and I can play Sonic Mania.
I'll just sit here and talk about how much I wish you guys weren't talking about Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, cool. Well, I guess that wraps it up for us.
Hopefully this won't be too long. I mean, it will be longer than Uncharted, but
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, no, thank you for listening all the way through, dear listener.
Is listeners...
No, it makes it more personal if you say listener.
What if they're listening together?
Listener.
Listener/us.
Listenees.
Listenees. Ugh.
Listenators.
Stop, you're making it longer.
Okay, yes, thank you for listening.
Follow us on Twitter at GameSpoilersPod.
Email us at gamespoilerspod.
At gmail.com.
At gmail.com, thank you.
GameSpoilerspod at gmail.com. You can find the podcast...
Oh my god.
Find us every month at Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, and more podcasting sites. Kerry, where can they find you on Twitter?
I am at KJPalmer24.
June, where can they find you on Twitter?
JUN_ears, like Janez.
They can follow me on Twitter at OBIWANJEZZ, which is Obi-Wan Twitter. There'll be links on gamespoilers.com.
Great, excellent.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Mum.